Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cashfly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, May 25th, 2013. This is episode 981. Enjoy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, and it's time to talk about, tech. Computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and all that jazz. Actually, our home theater guy, Scott Wilkinson, joins us at 33 1/3 after the hour to talk about big screen TVs and surround sound and all that stuff. My phone number, if you have a question or a comment or a suggestion, you want to talk high-tech with me, I'd love to hear from you. It's 8888 Ask Leo. You'll be talking to Heather, and she'll get you all set up so you can be on the show. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. So let's see. Wow. This has been an interesting week. Yahoo announced a new Flickr, which we use, for our Tech Guy photo assignments. We've always loved Flickr, but the new Flickr I think is quite beautiful, and I love it that they've really kind of enhanced the free version of Flickr. A terabyte, 1,000 gigabytes, 1 million megabytes of storage. That's a lot of storage for free. So that's nice. That's nice, and it's a very nice new layout. So we'll continue to use our Tech Guy group there. If you are a photographer, you're an aspiring photographer, and you'd like to take pictures, Chris Marquardt will be here, I think, next week to review our current assignment, which is ice. And you can see who's done what so far if you go to Flickr.com and go to the find groups Tech Guy group. It's it's the big one. It's got like 10,000 images up there now. Yahoo also announced they're going to buy Tumblr. And, of course, this is the universal internet reaction to any change. I quit. No, I didn't quit. But that's what happens, isn't it? We just hate change. I don't like it, whatever it is, and I'm quitting. I'm goodbye. And the folks at WordPress, Matt Mullenweg over there, said in the first hour after the announcement, 72,000 blogs moved to WordPress.com. That's come on, Matt. That's a little opportunistic. Yes, no. First of all, the transition won't happen for 6 months. It takes 6 months for a deal like that to close. Second, and we talked a little bit about this last weekend because it was supposedly about to happen. But second, who knows what Yahoo is going to do with it? I doubt they'll change it much. They'd be crazy to. And the model for this is what YouTube happened. What happened to YouTube on Google? Google spent billions of dollars on YouTube, and it really has kept it pretty much as an independent entity ever since. And I suspect the same thing with Tumblr. They understand. The reason Yahoo wants Tumblr is they want all the young folks who use Tumblr now. The kids, That's what everybody wants. The kids. Not us old folks, old fogies. No. They want the kids. Well, that's the children are the future, I think, as the song goes. But the kids are apparently abandoning Facebook to some degree. That doesn't surprise me. As soon as mom and dad start using Facebook, it's like, I don't know, I'm not going to put my stuff there. So Instagram was the first site to really benefit from that. Twitter still continues to benefit quite a bit. The kids according to a study I just saw, the kids seem to like the simplicity of Twitter, the stupidity of Twitter. You only get 140 letters, so, it's a text message. Snapchat, is another popular one with the kids because they can take pictures that are immediately, self-destructed, like Mission Impossible, which, of course, they have. When I say that, they think Tom Cruise. I don't know. What are they talking about? This message will self-destruct in 15 seconds. Snapchat is so strange. It's an iPhone and Android app. You take a picture, send it to your friend. Your friend can look at it for 10 seconds or I think as much as 30 seconds, and then it self-destructs, except kids. Just a little reminder. When you put stuff on the internet, you just should not assume that it's going to be private forever or ever. Turns out Snapchat isn't really deleting the messages, you know. They're just, they delete them from the interface, but they're all still there on the storage device and the cache. And so really, it's not private. So just keep that in mind. Then so the Instagram, of course, Facebook bought Instagram, saying, yikes. The kids, they're going to Instagram, so they bought Instagram. And then they did try to make a Facebook tried to make a Snapchat clone. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, reportedly wrote the new poke. And the kids said, no, thank you. We have Snapchat. And then when the kids want something that lasts a little longer or they want a quick blog, it's Tumblr. I just looked back because I've had a Tumblr since the very, very beginning. I fell in love with it right away. I had been looking for something like that. Something that was made it very easy to just slap up a picture or a quote or, just a quick... The idea precedes Tumblr. It was called a Tumble log, and the idea was, you're not writing big elaborate paragraphs of text. You just, oh, look what I saw. Here's a picture of something I saw. And David Karp was 19 years old, high school dropout, doing web design. And he said, I think I could do this, make it nice and easy. And in 2007, he launched Tumblr. I got my first Tumblr, leo.tumblr.net, I guess it was. I think it's .com now. leo.tumblr.net in February 2007. But it really took off when my buddy Gina Trapani wrote about it on Lifehacker. Remember the Lifehacker blog? What a great blog that was. I guess it's still around. But Gina founded that, and she said, "Ooh, look at this neat new way to blog." But I just want to say I was using it a month before that. Might have had something. We might have mentioned it on the radio show a few times. I should get a little credit, But really what gets credit is they tapped into something. Kids really, young people, and actually me too, loved having somewhere we could just easily slap a picture up. The other thing they did that was brilliant was they made it very easy for you looking at your Tumblr to say, oh, I like that, and to reblog it. And so reblogging was kind of in some ways the soul of Tumblr. So I still use Tumblr. I don't do it really kind of intentionally. What happens is on my Tumblr is when I post something on another page like Path, it automatically goes up to Tumblr. But a lot of my pictures end up on Tumblr, and it's I just think it's fun. It's a very easy to use. The designs are simple. It's just a way of storing your stuff. But man, it's a nice story because he was 19 years old. What was that? 8 years ago? No, 6 years ago. And now here he is. He's 26 now, so I guess 7 years ago. And David Karp gets $1.1 billion in cash from Yahoo. And of that, I think they said he's gonna get around $250 million cash. And he has to stick around for 4 years. So when he's 30, he'll have $250 million in the bank and nothing to do. Yeah, put it in the savings account, says Patterson in our chat room. You want to make snarky comments? That's a good place to do it. The chat room. Our website is techguylabs.com. You can join us there and chat with us. And I'd love to see you. Heather will answer your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. Techguylabs.com. Click the chat link. You'll get in the chat. What else? Oh, we're building the Death Star. Hey, John or Alex, if you can give me a shot for those watching at home of the Death Star, let's put it on 5 or 6 rather, because Jeffrey Needles, who is my intern, lowly intern, has apparently a collection of Lego Star Wars stuff, Yoda and C-3PO, and he came to me and said, "This would be really cool to build this." And $400 later, holy cow! He's got all the pieces. When did Jeff start this morning? What time did you start this morning, Jeff? 8 a.m., 9 a.m. He's already done a couple hours from yesterday, and now he's got the foundation there. You got to include, very important, include that ventilation, that air ventilation at the end of the trough there, so that Luke can destroy it if need be. We'll check in through the show, see how Jeff is doing. Building the Death Star on his day off. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, your calls coming up. You should see the instruction manual for this thing. It's huge. It's huge. So I figured out why the lights went crazy. Actually, I should talk about this on the show. I will talk about it on the show. So I have those Hue lights from Philips, and a couple of nights ago, 1:48 a.m. I know because I reached for my smartphone to turn off the lights. 1:48 a.m. The lights come on full. Oh, here comes the instruction. Well, you need this, don't you? You just want people to see it. I can't keep it. Look at the size of this thing. This is 247 pages of, but of course, you know, a lot of it is just like, and there's no English, is there? There's no words. Each is a step. It is worse than IKEA. But you love IKEA. Jeff is an IKEA fan. So this is cool. So it's a cutaway so we can see the, do you get all those characters? Wow, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Oh, this is going to be sweet. Wow. Okay, next the life-size TIE Fighter.
No, that's too big. We could do the Death Star or the Star Destroyer. It's 4 feet long.
Wow. What is?
4 feet long.
What's 4 feet long?
The Star Destroyer.
The Star Destroyer.
One of those triangle shaped.
Like the big Imperial.
How much is that one?
$400.
Well, that was nothing. Now that we're paying $400, it's kind of routine.
You got a match.
I mean, I could keep it on the set. I don't need to take
No, you have to take them home. 4 feet long, you don't have anywhere to put it in your studio apartment.
4 feet long.
It's that or a bed.
Like 20 pounds.
Greg says, I'll take it. I'll take it.
So 148, Thursday night, Friday morning.
So there was a power outage, right?
I was here.
But it was a quick power outage.
It was a minute.
I didn't know what had happened, but all of a sudden, at 1:48 in the morning, all the Hue LED lights in my bedroom and living room, I have 9 of them, come on full blast. It's like, good morning! And Lisa and I went, whoa! Now, I knew that was the Hue, so I reached for my smartphone and launched the Hue app so that I could turn them off. Lisa just goes, and flips the switch, and they go off. And by the way, last night I made sure that everything was powered off because I figured it out. And then the next morning I came upstairs and I saw the microwave blinking and I said, oh, there was a power outage. And then it slowly dawned on me, oh, I know what happened. I thought I had some bizarre if this then that script because I did have a couple. I had one where at sunrise the lights would start oscillating and stuff. And I thought, oh, I must have left something going. Or there was some bug. But then I realized, no, on the Hue lights, and this is true, when you turn them off and then turn them back on again, they come on full power. So normally I leave them all on because then I can control it from my iPad or my phone, and I can say, oh, let's have this, this, this. And so I always leave them on and turn them off electronically, but that's a flaw.
They need to save state.
They need to save state somehow. Seems like they should do that. Ow. Ow. It really, ow. Hit me in the face. Yeah, Lisa's my girlfriend and runs the business. So that's extremely confusing, I understand. But that's how we bet. I hired her to save my business. And a year and a half later, I said, she's kind of cute. My wife and I had divorced, and I was single at the time, and I said, she's kind of cute. I have 9 Philips Hues. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the living room and 4 in the bedroom. I'll show you my new car. The Herbie Love Bug. This is good. Good choice. Nathan is at it.
Blinded by the light.
I love it.
Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.
Not only that, the Manfred Mann Earth Band version of Blinded by the Light. Now that is special. Special, special. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you, Nathan, our musical director, who has picked a perfectly apropos song for today. Because I was, in fact, in the middle of the night blinded by the light. I've talked about these, haven't I? These Hue lights from Philips. I think they're fabulous, but there is a bug. There's a little glitch in them. So the idea is these are LED bulbs, But they're not your everyday LED bulbs. And by the way, LED bulbs are great. As they've finally dropped in price, they really make a lot of sense. Low power, very, very low power, and they last pretty much a lifetime, 10,000 hours, something like that, before they even start to dim. So they're really a much more eco-friendly replacement for incandescent bulbs, and even for the compact fluorescents. Some of them are dimmable and stuff, but these ones from Philips are kind of interesting. And I'm sure they'll drop in price. They're a little pricey right now, $60 a bulb. Although, I'd have to do the math. Given how long they last and how low power they are, it might be they're not much more expensive than 10 incandescent lights over the life of that. But but the cool thing is they're what they call RGB. They have red, green, and blue all in one bulb. And so you can, in software, they're attached to the Wi-Fi. You have a base unit that you plug into your router, and then the base unit communicates with the bulbs. And you can make the bulb any color at all. Since they have R, G, and B, red, green, and blue, any combination thereof, you can make it any color at all. Each bulb is controllable individually. And then the software, which you can get on the iPad, the iPhone, or the Android devices, lets you pick. You could, for instance, gosh, the light in Greece is so gorgeous, isn't it? It's beautiful. There's something about it. Or Mexico, so beautiful. So you take a picture of that. Or the sunset. This is a gorgeous sunset. So you take a picture of that with your smartphone, and then you can assign each bulb a color from that picture, from that image. Or you can have them be, daylight bright, or evening sunset yellow. You can any color. And it's all programmable. So you can say, okay, give me the sunset mode now. I think it's a very interesting idea, but there's a flaw, and I found out what the flaw was. At 1:48 in the morning the other day, I was blinded by the light because, and I understand why this is, but so you've got your lights all programmed. When you turn them off and then turn them on again, they don't go back to that state they were in. They go to full bright, all on, which is useful because if, you lost your shoe in the room and you want to get bright light, you just turn them off and on again. But the drawback is we had a little power outage in the middle of the night the other night. And I had left the lights on. I turned them off in software. But they still had power. And as soon as the power came back on, the lights thought I had turned them on. They all went 1:48 in the morning, full bright. I was blinded by the light. That is not a nice way to jump out of bed. It's like a catapult. And then, of course, being the geek that I am, I immediately reached for my smartphone and to run the software, to turn off the lights. And of course, it's all slowly, and then, and fortunately, my girlfriend, being a woman, is a little smarter. And she reached for the switch and just turned them off. Yeah, kind of beat me to the punch. That was smart. So now when I go to bed, I turn the lights off, physically turn them off. By the switch. Which is not convenient because I was assuming I'd be able to control these, so the switches are in obscure places. And it is not easy living on the bleeding edge. Not at all. All right, Heather has been gathering lovely people for us to talk to on the show. Heather, who should I start with in all of this?
Can we do Peter in Placentia, California?
I think we can handle it. I have the technology. Woohoo! Peter Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Leo, how's it going? Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, our school has a broadcast center, and they want to add green screen to it. And we downloaded some free software, but it's very limited. Any ideas on the studio is Mac and PC?
Yeah, there's a number of ways you can do this. Do you want to do it in real time or after the fact?
I want to do it in real time for broadcast.
That gets a little harder, yeah. So the idea is, and the weather folk use this, the little folk. If you watch TV, you know that. If you see the weather person pointing at the map, they're really pointing at a green or blue screen. And in the software, in the switcher, is putting the weather map up on it. And that's why the weather person is looking at an off-camera monitor instead of right behind them. They can see what it's looking like at home. But that's, and that's Ultimate for the most part is what's used in television. We can do the same thing here with the hardware that we use, a TriCaster, and that's not a bad choice for a school that has a little bit of budget. It's a video switcher that has built-in green screen. This is called keying, by the way, K-E-Y, keying.
Okay.
And the TriCaster will do keying in hardware, but you can do it in software. In fact, you probably already, I would think, have something like Wirecast. Do you have Wirecast?
Yeah, yes.
I think Wirecast does green screen.
Oh, cool.
So the trick on Wirecast is software. I think it's $400 or $500 that lets you do. That's how you do the switching. It's from a company called Telestream. It's production software, and it may be a plug-in for Wirecast. I'm not sure, but it's certainly. I'm almost positive they have keying.
Oh,
so
great.
so here's the key on keying. You got to, and by the way, the NewTek TriCaster 40 is very inexpensive. What is that? It's under $1,000. They made that specifically for schools, churches, and other budget constrained people. It's a little PC with hardware switching stuff in it. Black Magic ATAM is another one that's under $1,000. So there are hardware switchers, and they'll probably do a little bit of a better job. Oh, the TriCaster 40 is $5,000. Never mind. I would just say use Wirecast. Now, here's the key, the key on chroma keying, so to speak. You got to get a background that has a color that it does not occur in nature. And you know why, right? Because if the color happens to match the color of the pupil's eyes, then his eyes will disappear along with it'll turn into Central Park along with the background. Same thing with the shirt. So that's why we use green nowadays instead of blue. Blue was the original chroma key, but now they use green, and it's a weird lime green. You can buy that paint. There's companies that make chroma key paint. It's probably a good idea to do that. And the other issue is lighting, because you don't want a shadow cast on the green behind them. So the green screen is usually lit separately from the person in front of it.
Okay.
It's pretty, there's lots of tutorials. It's easy to find somebody that can do this or online that can tell you how to do this. Walmart apparently sells the chroma key green, so that's good, the paint. Some people use sheets. You can even buy, and this is good if you want a portable chroma key, you can buy, it looks like a trampoline. It's stretched on a frame, and you can just put it behind the student. And that's handy too, but what you don't want is any wrinkles. So if you use a sheet, you got to make it taut. Paint's good if it's in one particular spot, and then light it flat. And you're gonna be amazed at some of the effects you can do. Chroma key has gotten so much better. What a great idea for a school. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, you want a color that is like this one behind me, that is not particularly common in nature. You could, in theory, use a hue to light the green screen properly. In fact, Alex Lindsay, who does very, very good chroma key, was doing that. But I think it's not bright enough, really. So he has special fluorescent bulbs that are the right shade. Yeah, this is pretty close, actually. You can use any solid color. Yeah, see, they've keyed it out. But you see what's happening here? This shadow under the logo? We can see that, although that may not be a bad thing. Now he's putting flame. Alex, who's the master of the chroma key, has decided to put me in a fiery inferno. But you can see here. Now, what you could do is you could change the tolerance, but it'll start to bleed. See, it's bleeding. Yeah. So he's changing the tolerance. I like that. Let's just leave it right like that. But you see also what's happening. It's kind of affecting that sign because it's roughly the same color of green. So that's the issue with, although that's a particularly nice effect. This is TriCaster chroma keying. Is my shirt flaming a little bit? Just slightly, because it's slightly green. Ah. Now we are at sea. In the beautiful, what is that, Clear Lake? Chroma key is wonderful. 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 I love it that it's chroma keying at this is fabulous. So what you can do is you can play with the tolerance. So that's how specific the color has to be. The other thing we can do is garbage mats. So what you can do is you can that's me behind me. So you can mask off. You could say I don't want the chroma key effect to go anywhere like here. My office phone is ringing. That is weird. It's Big Head Leo. That is very, very strange. How about clouds? Do we have any clouds? Very beautiful day. So if you don't want... See how there's some spill right here? Because what's happening is the green light is actually spilling onto that wood. So to the degree that that spills is the degree that that doesn't look good. But what you can do is a garbage mat, and then that'll give you a perfect effect here. And so you probably would do a garbage mat. It doesn't have a garbage mat? It used to. Yeah, it has a garbage mat. I've done it. Oh, that's beautiful. Love that. And I love how it looks in here. We are a beautiful waterborne twit. Oh, it's only on that camera. So you can see, you know, what you're actually seeing. Oh, I won't mess with it. Now he's putting green screen everywhere. Now it's in the clock. It's in the thing. It's in Scott's. It's everywhere. Hold on, Scott. We'll be right there. Nope. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. During the commercial break, we were playing with the green screen and chroma key because we have that capability in our video production studio. We use a TriCaster 8500. Is that what we use? TriCaster something. And it's kind of cool. So now with that, you can pick any color. Use a little dropper and you say, whatever is a particular color that we want to replace with, you know, the New York City skyline or whatever. The one issue with the chroma key matting out the background is it's a little tricky if you have to move the camera, so don't. You can't pan across a chroma key because your actor will move, but the background won't. And it will make your viewers a little queasy, frankly. They do have very fancy green screen stuff, the networks use and so forth, that can monitor the motion of the camera and modify the background to match, the little motion matching, and then it's very effective because it really looks like you're in some strange place. A lot of movies done that way. Most of The Hobbit, for instance, is green screen. If you look at the making of on The Hobbit, and Peter Jackson was very generous in showing people how it was done. They'll be on models or sets that are real, but at some point the model ends, and it's just green, and they paint it in later. I'm sorry, Sean Berry in our chat room said, "Wait a minute, The Hobbit's I Yes, I'm sorry. I was mistaken. I didn't mean The Hobbit. I meant Alien." Scott Wilkinson's here, our home theater expert. He's the editor-in-chief over at the AVS Forum. Great to have you, the host of Home Theater Geeks on our network. You've seen a lot of this, I'm sure, in motion picture production. That's a lot of the special effects now are done on green.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I recently learned something very interesting, which is, you know, in this push to 4K, this new higher resolution format that a lot of people are talking about these days, both in the cinema and at home, I just learned recently that while they might shoot the movie in 4K, virtually all of the special effects, the computer-generated graphics, are only done in 2K.
Huh.
So
I don't get that.
Well, I don't either. I'm not sure why that's true. I'm going to be looking into it, but it's something that a number of professionals seem to confirm that, while the actual live motion is either shot with like a Red camera or a Sony camera or something like that in 4K, or it's shot on film and then digitized at 4K, which is this higher resolution, the actual special effects are only done in 2K. Now, why that is, I don't know, but I find it very interesting. I'm going to a very interesting event this weekend, an expo called Cinegear, which is all about professional cameras, movie cameras, and other equipment. And they're showing a special screening of this new movie coming out called After Earth. Have you heard of that one?
No, I haven't.
It stars Will Smith and his son.
Oh, I did. They had a big press conference in Cancun the other day.
Yes, yes. And it looks pretty interesting. And they're doing a special screening where it's being shown at 4K, this high resolution.
Yeah. So my movie theater is not 4K?
No.
I thought it might be. I thought the DLP screens, they might be. No?
Well, the projector might very well have a 4K resolution, which is 4,096 pixels across by 2160 pixels down, up and down.
Yeah.
And a lot of digital theaters now have 4K projectors, but virtually none of them are actually showing a file with that resolution because there's no infrastructure to deliver that high, that much data to the thousands of theaters that have these projectors. So instead, they're getting delivered 2K material, 2048 by 1080, and the projector is upscaling it.
Huh.
Taking that data and then upscaling it, just like a HD TV would take standard definition and upscale it to high definition.
So we're bandying about a lot of terms here. Let's kind of back off a little bit. 4K.
Yeah.
4K is the future. They call it ultra high def or UHD. Correct. It's the future of movies and television. I thought it was already here for movies, but I guess not.
It's not. It's not.
And the idea is it's twice the resolution horizontally, twice the number of dots horizontally, and twice the number of dots vertically. So
Correct.
it's hyper realistic. You know, when they shoot on film, what is the resolution of a film?
Boy, that's actually an interesting question and a kind of a tough one to answer. The ultimate resolution of film really depends on the tiny little grains.
The silver.
The silver, I don't know what they use now chemically, but film is basically a piece of plastic coated with tiny little grains of photoreactive chemical.
Right.
And the light comes in from the camera. And
it does have a resolution. I mean, it has dots.
Sort of does. Yeah, sort of. But these grains are not equally spaced and perfectly uniform. They're little grains of, almost like grains of sand. Not quite, but they're irregular.
So we aren't seeing any super high resolution, even if we're watching film projected.
Well, film. Now, if you were to get down to it. I've heard anything from 6K to 8K is what you can sort of equivalently call film.
So really, when we went to digital projection in the theaters, we actually took a step back in terms of resolution.
And film purists are the first and vociferous to point that out.
I told you. So if you're seeing a really well-done projection on a screen in a movie theater that's from a projector and a high-quality print, you're probably seeing something that's better than 4K. Is that right?
Yes, that is true. However, you said the right caveat with a high quality print.
Right.
And any print, any film print that moves through a projector, a film projector, is not going to remain high quality for long. It's going to get scratched, it's going to get dirt, it's going to have all kinds of problems. Plus the fact that as a physical film moves through the projector, it shakes around a little bit because the film is being jerked through the projector. One frame comes up and it stays there for a few milliseconds, and then the next frame comes up and it stays there for a few milliseconds. And so this film is getting started and stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped many times, 24 times per second. And that causes what's called judder, which is a slight jiggliness in the picture. And if you get sensitive to it, like so many things, you point something out and all of a sudden you can't not see it anymore. And that certainly happened with me and a lot of my colleagues. Is they look at film and they go, "Oh man, that's just so jiggly. It's hard to really watch." So, it's true. With a high quality print through a film projector, you're going to see a higher resolution. But that's not going to solve the problem of motion blur, which at 24 frames per second, you're shooting a movie on film at 24 frames per second. And if something moves fast by the camera, it's going to blur, just like in a still picture. You take a still picture of something that's moving, it looks blurry in the still picture. The same thing happens in film, which is why Peter Jackson and James Cameron are advocating shooting at higher frame rates.
So this is interesting. So even though the film might be higher resolution, because it's 24 frames per second, it's kind of that changes it. It gives it a filmic quality that we're used to, but that's a matter of just being used to it. So one solution to this to get better, more accurate. The Hobbit was shot this way, although I never did see it in the high frame rate version.
I'm sorry you didn't. You're not going to see it at home that way because Blu-ray can't support that high frame rate. Avatar 2 apparently will be in a high frame rate. I thought it looked beautiful. It did kind of have a bit of more of a video look to it, and some people complained about that. And rightly so. If you don't like that look, then you don't.
Scott Wilkinson, home theater guru. Thanks for joining us. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, John saw it, and he loved it.
Did he? I did too.
He saw the last showing in Santa Rosa at 48 frames. So John saw it how many? 4 times? 5 times? 3 times. 3D IMAX, 2D, and then 3D. Oh, you saw 3D 48 frames.
That's the only way to see 48 frames.
Yeah, now I have the Blu-ray at home, but it won't be. It's not.
It won't be 48.
We need to go back to your original topic, Scott. Yeah. Why is it the special effects are 2K when the film is at 4K?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Star Trek, well, John's telling us now.
I'm not telling you, but it's putting us in the same problem that Star Trek Next Generation made.
Right.
They had to redo all the special effects to put it out on Blu-ray because it was filmed, but all the special effects...
Oh, not the Next Generation, the first...
No, TNG.
Oh, it was because the first, they did the same thing with the Star Trek, the first series, where they redid all the special effects for the re-release because for that exact reason. Film, and then these grainy special effects, and when you saw it in high quality, it looked crappy. So they're doing it with TNG as well, I guess.
Yeah. I heard that in the original series Star Trek, they replaced the special effects because the original special effects were visuals. That is, they were actual models and paintings and stuff like that. And then they replaced them with CGI, computer generated.
Yeah, they're saying that TNG had the problem that it was film and film. The special effects, as you said, were filmed, but then they composited on video. So you had this really kind of
crappy looking thing.
Result.
Yeah, exactly. So
there are this one here. It's DLP, but it's not 4K. Well, it probably has 4K capability.
It might be
the real D. So it's two 2Ks, but it can't show a single 4K.
I don't think it's even 2K.
It's not even 2K. Oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. We have which projection? We have Christie's.
Christie's. I would be surprised if it was a 1K Christie. That's a first generation Christie. I would bet it's at least 2K. In Burbank, we have mostly the Christie's we have here are 4K, but there's no 4K content delivered to them. It's all 2K content delivered to them, and then they upscale it. That's what was Star Trek Into Darkness, which I saw last Monday night. And by the way,
given the distance from the screen that you are, unless you're one of those kids who sits in the front row, you're probably not going to notice the difference between film, 2K, 4K. It's all going to be roughly the same. I mean, you're 20, 30 feet away.
Yeah, but the screen's 85 feet wide. At least in the theater I went to.
I never see any pixels on the screen.
No, I don't either. At 2K, I don't see pixels on the screen at a normal seating distance, and I generally try to get a good seat about 2/3 of the way back in an auditorium.
You're an old man. It's so funny to watch. As people age, they go from the front of the theater to the back of the theater. So you're 2/3 of the way to dead then, because it. Actually, there are a few teenagers in the last row, so they can make out. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Then there's the age-related issue of volume, of noise levels.
Yeah.
So
how'd you like Star Trek?
As a movie, I didn't like it very much, and I'm a hardcore Trek fan.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of made it better was just seeing these guys again, and we won't give you any spoilers, but the kind of the thrill of seeing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a nice shot. Why is it not working here? Am I doing something wrong? Do I have to pick this one?
Matt W783 has said he saw Star Trek Into Darkness with Atmos, and that's how I saw it as well. And the Atmos soundtrack is great, really great.
There it is. There's Oz.
There I am.
Oz, the great and powerful.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. That is very cool. Oh man!
But it was nice to see. You know, I was saying this to somebody. It's just like the first Star Trek movie to see these guys back together again is part of the fun of it. Hey, I got to run. Got to run. Okay. You want to hang on for?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Carbonite for the live read.
Thank you, sir. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Martin in Thousand Oaks. You're next, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Martin. Oh, wait a minute. Let me push the right button. I have to make a switch here so that I can pull you up. That's interesting. Let's go back to this. I messed around with my system.
Okay.
Hi, here we go. Hi, Martin.
Well, long-time listener. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks.
I mean, long-time listener.
All right. Yeah, I started in 2004, but I've been doing a technology talk show since 1991.
Well, not that far, but a little bit after that.
You know, it's like 22 years. Did we even have technology back then? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
No.
I kept track of it, but I was living a very fast life, so it wasn't a part of my life.
I think in 91, it was like, there's this new thing called the zipper. It's going to replace buttons, but we'll have to help you use it. No, you know what changed, and I bet this is what changed for you. I'm going to take a guess, Martin. Of course, personal computers, putting a computer on your desk was huge. And in the internet, that was really big, and that was the mid-'90s. But I think cell phones and mobile computing has made it more accessible for more people than anything before.
Yeah. Can I make a fast comment on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so way back when, I happened to be in the position that I could afford a cell phone, and it was LA Cellular. It was that big white brick with a big, long black antenna.
Yeah, the Michael Douglas phone, yeah.
Exactly. And my average phone bill, I am not kidding, was about $1,200 to $1,500 a month.
Were you a realtor? What is it you did?
Okay, so here, well, this is part of my question too. Is way back then I was getting into photography, and we were at least for me, it was like the heyday of fashion photography. We were going from stills and the magazines and stuff into it was become fashionable or fashion that fashion photographers were starting to be music video directors.
Right.
So I had to be on the phone because I also helped produce a couple of photographers that I worked for.
Oh, fun.
And so we could be anywhere on an actual photo shoot, and then we would get a call, and it was like talking to the studio and trying to coordinate all this stuff. And the good thing for us is a lot of my bill was paid by
the studio.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah, the production company.
Yeah, and back then we had terribly huge budgets.
Well, what's the most famous music video you worked on?
Well, the funnest one that I worked on was Human League. That's
Don't You Love Me, Baby?
Yeah, and that photographer that shot that video, directed it, also was a big guest photographer, and he shot Anna Nicole Smith and all this stuff.
Oh, neat.
So there was a lot of crossover, which was pretty cool. But I don't want to go into the terrible videos. Oh, I can name one because of your last guest.
Yeah.
We shot Rod Stewart on actual video.
Oh, wow. That's how long ago that was.
Yes, and it was actually the worst video ever because it was too in focus, showed all the flaws.
Too good.
Exactly. And they really didn't like it. And so it was like, but that's what you told us to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've come a long way, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Oh, my goodness. I could tell you stories. One day I'm going to come up there and hopefully you have, a few hours and I can share.
I'd love to hear it. What do you do today, Martin?
Well, mostly I'm a parent.
Good.
The world has changed.
That's a very full-time job.
It is, and that's what happened because when I used to do that, and that's why I married my wife because she could put up with me being home 2 days out of the month, maybe.
Wow.
And
that's tough.
That's why I married her. I don't know if she married me for the same reason, but I did. She stuck it out with me.
That's awesome. I'm playing Human League Don't You Want Me right now, the video of that.
It was pretty cool.
It was a night shoot. That's kind of fun.
Well, it was all over the place. Those shoots take, if you have a bigger budget, it could go 3 days, but back then. But now, towards the end, they were a very long day, and by the end of it, you hated that song.
Wow, they're even showing the old, what do they call the videola editors with the film?
Yep.
Wow, that dates this.
And we didn't even know that was old already.
No, that's hysterical. That's hysterical. Moviola, not videola. Moviola, yeah. Well, what can I do for you, Martin?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. So I have to get into the modern now, and for a while, so the last magazine clients that I had were Japanese magazines, and talk about a dream job, right? So I'm going to even get it more dreamy. My subject matter was hula.
Hula hoops or
hula
dancing. Wow,
yeah.
Fun.
So in Japan, they have, they're a different culture than us. They had 3 magazines that focus exclusively on hula dancing.
Of course they do.
Yep.
Of course.
We could never do that. Right?
No.
And I was very fortunate because, number one, I'm from Hawaii. Number two, I was a long time in fashion, so I understood the editorial concept where I could, get a concept, abstract it, and then get it done really quickly and usually wow them. So, anyways, they died, unfortunately.
The hula magazines?
Yeah, a lot of the magazines.
Yeah.
So the producer...
That's the otaku culture of Japan. There's the original geeks where they would just fall in love with one little slice of culture and become obsessive about it.
Yeah. Oh, and they do. There's actually the biggest hula schools in Japan. Those spend the most money. It's just unbelievable. And the people that I know in Hawaii, they go to Japan to make money.
I can't mock it because otaku is really the predecessor to geek culture here, where we do the same thing. We get obsessed about Star Wars or whatever, and so that's kind of the way it is here too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, one of the producers called me and said, this was about a year and a half ago, and said, "Hey, I just heard that Hawaii's going to have a subway." But I looked into it.
That's a joke.
It's still not right, and it's not for sure yet.
Will it go from island to island?
No, it's okay. So it hasn't been approved. When I was a little boy, they were talking about it then, but it was above rail, and it was a couple, like $27 million, if I recall.
Yeah.
Guess how much? If they do it now,
it's billions now, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be 22 miles, and it'll only go on the South Shore.
Wow.
From Waikiki to a little past Pearl Harbor. So anyways, he said that he read an article. They're going to have 22 stations, and they're looking for art. And wouldn't you be interested in doing hula pictures for the
there you go.
Right. Okay, but that's how it started. Well, as it turns out, I did some research, and picture, if you get a photograph, right, where do you put it? On your wall, right?
Right.
Well, in Hawaii, all these stations will not have walls.
Oh, they'll be open.
Yes. So I asked him, well, where would they put the photographs? He's all, I don't know yet. So, okay, well, that started it.
Maybe they'll project them onto something.
So then he came back and said, hey, have you heard of Kickstarter? And yeah, everybody's heard of Kickstarter. So, but nobody really knows about it. And so I finally decided to do it. And that's why I'm calling. I did it. I pressed the button, and then it said, I thought it would be instantaneous. It said, you got to get verified. They have.
Yeah. We've tried, they rejected. We were trying to raise money to build a studio that I'm in, and they rejected it. They said, your existing business, this is really for new projects, so we won't do this. Indiegogo is one that we could have gone to that's very similar. This is called crowdfunding.
Right.
The idea of going out to your community, or maybe even people who don't know, and asking for money. And, of course, Zach Braff very famously just raised a ton of money on Kickstarter for, is it Veronica Mars?
Yeah. And there's a couple of other ones. But here's my big question about that is, okay, I mean, I keep up with the tech. I do a lot of photoshopping, and, I have digital cameras and digital video and all that stuff. And I'm getting into the last caller about green screening, about tracking it and stuff. And what's neat, if I could sidebar for a second, we have the power.
This is all, I hate to tell you, Martin, this whole thing's a sidebar. I'm going to run out of time here in about a minute. So can we bottom line it here?
Yeah, and if I can hang up and you can talk about it, please. But now that I press the button, how do I get people to get to it?
By calling radio shows and telling them, what is the name of your Kickstarter?
Well, it's Hula Images, and I have a website called hulaimages.com. And but after
did it get approved on Kickstarter?
No, I'm waiting for the
You're waiting. Okay.
Yeah.
So but people should go to hulaimages.com. I imagine that the Hawaiian Islanders would be the people most interested in supporting this.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, but that's the other thing is how do you
Wow,
get
they're
it to
beautiful.
them? How do you
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? One of the things that digital technology has empowered is the ability to create this stuff for very low cost. You no longer need to have a publisher. You don't need to have a record industry. You don't even need. You can be Zach Braff and raise $3 million as he did on Kickstarter and create a movie or a TV show. So it's much easier, thanks to digital technology, to create stuff. The question is, how do you get the word out? Marketing. Well, maybe we can talk about it when we come back. Hey, thank you, Martin. I appreciate it. Good luck. Hula Images, they're beautiful.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Wow. The tech guy here to tell you about a brand. Father Robert says when he worked in Hawaii, they'd get calls from Japanese couples all the time who wanted Catholic weddings. They weren't Catholic. But, yeah, this is kind of more otaku stuff, isn't it? It's a very interesting culture. So here we go. The Death Star is taking shape. And I think we should get a Darth Vader helmet. Or at least a Stormtrooper helmet for... That's not part of the Death Star. For Jeff Needles, who is working hard here, about 4 hours into the Death Star. I think the Death Needle is good. I think that's good. All right, I'm going to give it back to Scott, who's going to take over for a bit. And
happy to do so.
Thank you, sir.
By the way, H-Bomb has a great idea: a Daft Punk helmet. Actually,
that's a good idea. Yeah,
I like those guys' look. I think it's very cool.
How do you like the new album, though, H-Bomb? Everybody's saying bad things about it. I can't find H-Bomb.
Really? I haven't heard it yet.
I'm on the wrong...
Anyway. Well,
I messed up with everything. I wasn't in ISDN at all. I don't know how.
Untoward. Some sort of ultra-plastic solar-powered OLED that is printed on bamboo in 4K.
Right.
There we go.
All right. Go ahead. It's all yours.
So, yeah. Hey, thank you so much. Web6966 is asking, what happened to 3D without glasses? Well, it's still being worked on. Dolby has, I think, the best solution called Dolby 3D. And we haven't seen it in a commercial product yet, and I don't know when we will, but the Dolby solution is the best I've seen. And it's the most smooth. You don't have to sit with your head locked in a vise to see 3D. There was an announcement recently. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up. That announced some development or progress in getting Dolby 3D into the home. Kevin Dublin is asking or saying, my video is amazing this week, and so it is. I've got a brand new video camera, Logitech C920. Thanks, Fraser Swally, for the lovely Christmas gift. It does make things look a lot sharper here around here in the Home Theater Geek studio. Let's see. Anybody else got any questions? I'm sitting here ready to answer. Of course, I can yak and yak and yak. Kate Pilot says, why do we want 3D? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Some people just don't like it. And if you don't like it, you don't buy it. Although these days, TVs, all but the very most basic TVs, come with 3D for no extra charge. You still need to wear glasses. But the good news is you don't have to use it if you don't like it. Because the TVs that have 3D capabilities are usually better at 2D, at regular TV, than the TVs without it. Because they're more premium TVs that have this feature called 3D. Big Ginge is asking, if UHD is 2160p, what P is 8K? Great question. And the answer is multiply 2160 by 2. So it would be, what, 4320? That sounds about right. 4320p would be 8K. Now, a lot of people are saying, why should we even bother with 4K or 2160p or UHD or whatever you want to call it? Because 8K is coming down the pike. And it is. But it's going to be a while. And this also brings up the question of, can you see the difference in 4K? And if you can't, then you certainly won't be able to see the difference with 8K. Now, I will say that somebody in the chat room a little earlier brought up the point of, can you see the individual pixels? And if you can't, isn't there something else about it, simply more information coming at you that makes it a better looking picture? And I think the answer is yes. There is a limit to how much resolution the human eye can see. And if you exceed that limit, if you get more detail than that, you can't see it. So the argument goes. And that's true as far as it goes. But I've seen 4K even without being able to see the individual pixels and well beyond that. And it still has a quality to it. I was over at my friend Tom Norton's the other day looking at the Sony UHD TV, the X900A, a 65-inch TV, and I was 8 feet away, which is about what you'd want to be for 1080p, for high def. So I was too far away, theoretically speaking, for 4K to make much of a difference. And yet, I thought it looked really good. Now, and better, in fact, than 1080p. Now, was it so much better? No. I remember thinking that the jump from 1080p to 2160p is not as dramatic as it was from standard def to high def. That was a big, giant jump. But the jump from 2K to 4K or 1080p to 2160p is not as big a jump. So, you know, it may not be that important. Let's see. Oh, now I'm getting some questions here, and we're going to run out of time in a couple minutes, but I'll take as many as I can. Any good 3D monitors out there? I assume Scarini 1. Do you mean computer monitors? I don't know, because I don't know the computer monitor market. Aaron B. saw Men in Black 3 on a Sony TV in 3D, and it wasn't as good as in the theater, but it was impressive. Okay, I can understand that. In the theater, you saw it with passive glasses, and on the TV, it might very well have been active glasses, which are dimmer, give more people headaches, are more expensive, require batteries or recharging. Not a really good. Linux Lurker, what is the meaning and purpose of life? I love that. The meaning, Grasshopper, the meaning and purpose of life is to observe the universe into existence. Next question. Big Ginge, have they ratified 4320p? Not in any kind of formal way. Japan's NHK broadcast system is working on it, but there's no standard that I know of. Linux Lurker, oh man, he's really challenging me today. He or she, I don't know. How much better is best? And is it worth it? Yes. iTuner99 saw 3D on DirecTV's Genie Box, which seemed better than 3D video on disc. Any reason for the difference? I don't know. I haven't seen it on. I don't even know the DirecTV Genie Box. I'll have to look that up. Thank you for hipping me to that. Beatmaster, how big are the chances that 4K TVs will bring DisplayPort? That's a good question. To the mainstream, ending the reign of HDMI. I think the chances are pretty small, but not not zero, because DisplayPort can carry much more data than even HDMI 2.0 probably. HDMI 2.0 isn't even ratified, isn't even finalized.
Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure.
All right, see you later. Hey, Nathan, what's your email? We want to send you some music.
What's that?
What's your email? We want to send you some music. Some bumpers. Heather's done some bumpers just for you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It's Nathan Staton at Clear Channel.
STAYTON. Got it. Did you get that, Heather? All right.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, she did some. We got some Daft Punk. She's a Daft Punk fan. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. And it's time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, home theater, and virtual reality. Yes! So we were talking about Kickstarter with Martin, our previous caller, and how Kickstarter is used to crowdsource funding for projects. And it's such a great idea. As long as the people, and my only concern is that the people who give money, and Kickstarter's concern as well, don't think of it as a store where you're going to buy stuff, but really as investing in a product that may or may not live up to its hype, may never even be delivered. Originally, Kickstarter was created for creative projects, movies, music, books, to help fund those kinds of things. If you had an album, Amanda Palmer, who formerly of the Dresden Dolls, wanted to make an album. And so she went to the folks at Kickstarter and said, here's the album, here's the idea, I want to do it. She wants to do a record, an art book, and a tour. She asked for $100,000. She got $1.1 million. There are a number of very well-known successes here. But this is really what the folks who started Kickstarter were envisioning. But it's gotten to be really more of a place where people go to fund physical products like the Pebble Watch. The Pebble Watch was a watch for iPhone and Android that asked again for $100,000. This was back in May of last year, almost exactly a year ago, in fact, and raised $10.2 million. The way it works is if you see a project you like, mostly the projects have about a month to fund. You pledge. You say, hey, I will give you $10 or $100. And in every case, the people on Kickstarter who create these projects will give you rewards at different levels. In some cases, you'll get a product. In some cases, you just get a T-shirt or whatever. You don't have to pay until they reach their funding goal, and then everybody pays all at once, and presumably something happens. Although I can tell you I've given money to a number of Kickstarter projects which have never materialized. And so, you know, it's not a guarantee, I guess, and let the buyer beware and all of that. And some of the stuff I've funded just turned out to be not very good. But that's okay. As long as you understand it, that's okay. So one of the projects I funded at Kickstarter was this. This just came today, the Oculus Rift. It's a virtual reality helmet. And they were asking for $250,000. They raised $2.5 million, 10 times as much. And have made a this is a development kit, so it's not even something you can do anything with, but you could put the helmet on and you can and then you can go into this virtual reality world that you will wander around in. See, that I like a little bit better than the other thing I ordered, which was this. This was the ostrich pillow. Now, I kind of did this in fun. The idea of this is it's a pillow that you put on your head, and then there it is. And then you put your arms in the holes, and you can sleep face down on a desk or in an airplane. And really, it not only does it really not work, but you look like an idiot. But I kind of knew. I mean, it wasn't like they didn't have videos of people looking like idiots wearing it. So I can't blame them. They raised quite a bit of money to make that ostrich pillow. So some of the things I have are cool. And Some of them are not. I think that Martin's idea to put his hula images on there is exactly hula images for the soon-to-be perhaps created Hawaiian subway is a perfect idea for Kickstarter. That's the kind of thing Kickstarter was designed for, to support creatives and, getting their dreams to come true. But he raises the most important question, and it's a question I get asked all the time. How do I get my website, Kickstarter project, product, video on YouTube? How do I get people to see it? How do I get it known? And it's interesting because what happened really was on the old days, from my time, in the old days of big media, if you were a recording artist, your goal, your life dream was to sign a record contract for a couple of reasons. The record company provided you with a studio, the wherewithal, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, to go into a very expensive recording studio with an engineer and a producer and make a record. So they gave you money up front, kind of like Kickstarter would. And then they had a distribution network of record stores that you bring that record to, that the kids could find it. They also spent some energy and time promoting the record, marketing, going to radio stations and getting to play it and all of that. And that's why you needed a record company. You couldn't really do that yourself, but except now you can do almost all of it yourself, can't you? You can easily make the record. It doesn't cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, you probably have the equivalent of a high-quality recording studio on your laptop right now. So that's no big deal. Distribution? Easy. That's called the internet, and it's free. You put your video on YouTube, you put your music on CD Baby or Amazon, and the world can beat a path to your door. So the only thing that the record companies, the book publishing companies, the movie companies provided that we don't quite have a handle on is marketing. Of course, I guess you could go from radio station to radio station with your MP3 and say, please, sir, would you play it? But really, we have to find new ways of marketing that match the new ways of content production and distribution. And that's where constantly where the real challenge is. It's easy to make a video, a very good video, with the current technology, and edit it and make it spectacular and put it on YouTube, and it's available to anyone, anywhere on the internet. More than 1 billion people can download it and watch it all over the globe. So you got the distribution handled. But how do you get them to find out about it? And that's a lot more challenging. It's one of the reasons I think certainly this is what I do, and I think one must do, is focus on building a community. The reason Amanda Palmer is a good example, could raise all that money to make her album, is she had a built-in fan base who knew about her, who wanted to support her, and they were willing to step up. She makes the point, it's very interesting, she has a TED Talk about all of this. She said, my last record deal with a record label, the album only sold 25,000 copies. And the record label said, well, it's just not enough. We're not going to make any more records with you because it's just not a big enough audience. But interestingly enough, roughly speaking, the number of people who donated to her Kickstarter project to help her raise $1.12 million exactly duplicated that number, 24,883. So the same 25,000 people who weren't enough for a record label were more than enough for Amanda. So she had a community, she had a fan base, and she was able to capitalize on it. A fan base that wasn't enough for mainstream, but was more than enough for the internet, because we've eliminated the costs of making the record, distributing the record. We don't have to give money to DJs anymore. No more cocaine in the album. It's all over. All that expense is gone. So she can go directly to the fans, and that money goes directly to the production of the album and into her pocket. Let's face it. I mean, that's how she's making a living. So my suggestion, if you are an artist or creator, if you do videos, is to start building a community. And that takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to need a day job. Guess what? You're still going to have the waiter job. You're still going to have to work at Denny's as you work your way up. But start building that community. The good news is that community doesn't have to be that big. It can be much smaller than it would have to be a mainstream music or television or movie star. But you've got to have the community. You've got to have the people around you. You've got to start reaching out to them, talking to them. It's more than self-promotion. It really is. In fact, sometimes self-promotion is a negative attribute. People don't like somebody who's a self-promoter. They want someone who's genuine, who's authentic, who's making something they like. But if you build that community, the sky is the limit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
And I worked as a busboy at Denny's,
And as a cook at McDonald's. And as a record
Hurricanes,
tornadoes at Odyssey Records when I was starting out. Make something you like. You should promote it, but be careful about self-promotion. Wow, I'm so excited. My Oculus Rift is here. I don't know what to do with it. Put it on my head? Well, that I can do. That's the easy part. Heather says, put it on your head. Why? Who got the cocaine in the records? No. He would go, yeah. Yeah, of course. I was a music director. I know about all that. I never did the nose candy. I wasn't into it, but there were all sorts, they take you to lunch. There was all sorts of stuff they would do.
He got arrested and did jail time.
Wow.
In the 90s, I worked
Heather's saying that she worked for a guy who wrote the book called Hitman and who got arrested and did. Oh, he was in it. He got arrested and did a jail time for doing exactly what I talked about. They'd slip little packets in the album, and they'd say, we'd love to get this on your high rotation. And you'd open it up, and you'd go, oh, certainly.
First person to name him wins a prize. I'll figure out what it is.
Oh, that's it. She says, first person to name him wins a prize. Who could that be?
cloud phone system.
Who could that be? First person to name him wins a prize, says Heather. I love it. I love it. No, I was a music director at my first radio station. Well, I was a music director in college radio, so that would have been mid-'70s. Well, they were still doing that. And then in my first radio station, which was KMBY in Monterey, I was a music director there. But it wasn't enough. But you know who was a music director at a P1 station, or whatever they called it? One of those mover and shaker stations for Billboard was Alex Lindsay over here. Have you met Alex? And he used to get the funny pounder in the records.
See, that's the movie I want to see.
H-Bomb and I are the same age. Well, she's younger than me, but we're the same. We come from this radio vintage. We know you're actually a lot younger than me, but we know the people. She knows the people who are my age. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
Yeah, because she's just a child. But
and then Andy T. Can't
all right, you ready?
play the game because he knows the man. Oh, fabulous! Now this was the precursor to Google Glass,
and it moves around. I can't do it and wear headphones. It moves around as you look around. I'll have to set it up for you, and then you can try it. You haven't tried one of these. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's not Google Glass?
No, this is not Google Glass. This is a very different kind of a thing. But you wear it, and as your head turns, but in the same way that Google Glass does it, but this is immersive. This goes all around you. I want to see
what you're seeing.
Yeah. I'll show you. We'll set this up. I've already played with it because Tony Wang got his like months ago. I don't know, it must have been a late blip. You put some software on the on a laptop, and this plugs into a laptop. And then there's some games, I think. There's my Oculus Rift. It's nice though. It comes in a little carrying case. That's cool. Of course, I'll never get it back in the carrying case. It's one of those carrying things. You take it out. Once you take it out, you'll never get it back in. It's like a Swiss watch.
So did you have good seats last night?
Oh, yeah. I always spring for good seats. I go to StubHub and we get Field Club.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I spend money.
I've been all over
We'll go with you next time. I didn't know
you
were a Giants fan.
I'm not. I mean, who isn't? I mean, I live so close.
Well, Lisa's more of an NFL fan. She's sitting there. She's going, this is so boring. No wonder people like the NFL.
Right? Who did we even play?
All right, Leo, Carbonite to Billboard.
Heather's liking this song. I don't know what it is. What is this?
This is the first single from the new Daft Punk.
This is the new Daft Punk?
Yeah, with
Sounds a little disco-y. I thought they were more...
very disco. It's a total ripoff.
This sounds like this could be...
I mean, and I mean that in the best way.
This could be KC and the Sunshine Band.
It's disco.
All right.
So you like or you don't like?
Well, I don't know. I have bad memories of disco.
Really? Oh.
What I remember.
Because that thing we were talking about earlier.
No, I was a DJ at that time. I had to play the Bee Gees Saturday Night Fever or whatever over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
So do you not enjoy it now?
Not really.
Oh, that's sad.
What? That I don't enjoy disco? That's not sad.
That record was epic.
Yeah, no. Night
the
Fever.
bass lines and stuff.
Night Fever, night. No.
Oh, come on.
No.
Alrighty, never mind.
Heather Hammond, sorry, Mom, brought me a lovely badge. It says, "Keep calm and code on." I like this. This was from an event you went to at an Apple store? What's the story here?
Yeah, if people want to check it out, it's she++.com. And these two gals at Stanford who are just so sweet and charming as the day is long have a little documentary, and it's to encourage girls to get into CS because they are disproportionately not represented.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's really an issue.
Oh, perfect. You pulled it up.
In technology, we've got to get more women. Well, it starts with girls in school interested in, I think it's STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Well,
and
apparently the girls are doing okay in math as far as percentages.
Good.
But in CS, there's a big drop-off.
Right.
So.
Right. And you know, it's no fun if it's just a bunch of boys. So let's get some women involved. Seriously.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that the products you get then all have kind of a male slant. Look at some of the games we're playing these days, and it'd be awfully nice to get some female point of view in there. So, yeah, look at that. It's 50-50 in calculus AB, but then by the time it gets to computer science, it's 20-80, 20% women, 80% men. So
crazy?
they love the math. The women do well in math, which is a big change already, frankly, because it didn't used to be that way even. She++ is a documentary from Stanford, SHEPLUS.com. We'll put that in the show notes. But thank you for bringing. I love the little badge. I'm going to keep this on my microphone. Keep calm and code on. Who should I talk to next, HH?
Yeah, let's go to Dave in Houston, Texas.
Dave in Houston, Texas, online. You tell me. Four, right?
Hi, Dave. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing.
Good. This is not from Texas. Do they talk like this in Texas, too?
No.
Are you from Jersey?
New York.
New York, okay. I think it's more like, how y'all doing?
Yeah, howdy.
Howdy, boy, howdy.
Hey, I appreciate everything that you have online for free, and I'm also watching you on the Twitch Live.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah.
Nice-looking babe there. Anyway,
thank you. I know people don't usually call me a babe, but I appreciate it. I'm glad I shaved today.
Hey, I was a commercial driver, and I've got to get the wireless Bluetooth. I was looking at the Blue Parrot.
That's the one all the drivers I know, everybody uses a BT250 because they say it's the best noise reduction. Of course, you're in the cab of a truck. It's noisy.
Right.
And I have talked to drivers in driving down the highway on this BT250, and it sounds amazing. I got it, and I was very impressed. Now it's a bulky headset, but you're driving. You don't mind that, right?
Then that's fine.
And it's pardon me?
I have to have the windows down because I don't have AC. They won't provide it for me.
Oh my golly! In Houston, they don't give you AC?
I'm not telling you.
That's a nightmare.
I'm not going to tell you.
That city was not made for somebody to be out in the summertime. Man, you have my deepest sympathy. So I don't know. I mean, with the windows down is a pretty challenging environment, but it has excellent noise cancellation. And if you go to the websites, there are websites for truckers where they talk about this stuff. And universally, it seems to be this is the one. It's $120 at headsets.com. They call it the Road Warrior. I bought one. Good battery life because it's got a big old honking battery on the side of it. It's one ear cup. You can make it right or left ear depending on how you feel. I've used it, and the noise cancellation is excellent. Highly recommended.
How about the Cobra T5? That was another one I was looking at. Are you familiar with that one?
I am not. I haven't tried it. I would just go get it. $80 on Amazon, even better. The B250 XT.
I see. I got it. I see it for $69.83.
Even better. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the Cobra, but because the blue parrot works so well, I wouldn't even go to any other choice. Just get it.
I'll go with your recommendation.
You will, and call me back. In fact, call me back with the windows down on a hot Houston day, and let's hear what it sounds like.
All right, will do.
All right, Dave. Good to talk to you. Take care. Drive safe. Michael in Germany. Where are you, Michael?
I'm south of Berlin in the Leipzig area.
Beautiful. Listen to how clear that sounds. It's amazing. You sound better than the guy who was in Houston.
Well, I'm calling through Skype, and I'm using a professional setup.
Sounds really good. Are you a podcaster? Why do you have a professional setup?
You've been briefed, haven't you?
No, I haven't. This is off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah, I am a podcaster, and that's what my question is about. As you know, podcasters can charge for podcasts through iTunes.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if this is ever going to change.
You mean, are people going to pay for podcasts as opposed to just saying, give them to me for free?
Well, yeah, can we charge as podcasters? I'm sure people would pay, or maybe some would not. But
well, here, I'll give you my experience. How about that? Started podcasting right at the beginning in 2004. And for the first 2 years, I said, I will never accept advertising because I don't want any conflict of interest. I want the audience to pay for the shows. Then they'll know, that I represent them, they represent me, and there will be any question. Because there's, you take ads, there's always going to be that question, well, does the advertiser get special treatment? I will assure you they do not. However, the question still arises. And so it would have been great. What I found was fewer than 2%. And I only asked $2 a month, by the way. I thought that was a fair amount. Only 2% of the total audience ever paid. Ever. And the amount of money, which wasn't bad because we had a pretty big audience, it was around $8,000 a month, was enough to pay me a salary. Certainly enough for me, but I couldn't have grown. I could have only done the podcasts I was doing, and I would have to edit them and do everything myself. And I wanted to get bigger. So after a couple of years, I finally backed down. I said, all right, I get it. Now, I wasn't willing to beg. Now, here in the States, we have public radio and public television. It's different in Germany, but they beg. They're ostensibly non-commercial, although I would submit they have as many commercials on as commercial radio and TV in the States.
Now.
They beg, and they beg constantly, and that's one way to get it up. But apparently, I've been told by folks at public radio that only about 4% donate. So that's still a small minority of the total audience. So how do you make living as a podcaster? Let's talk about it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, right after this. Yeah, they have commercials and begging. I never was willing to beg. What's in here? Oh, this looks like a piece of history. A piece of computer history. I'll go back to Dave in a second, Dave. Don't go away. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's a Polaroid land camera. Wow, look at that. I got to see who sent me this. Is there a letter at the very bottom? People, when they clean out their garages, frequently send it to me. Dear Leo, says Cassandra, was checking out things at a flea market and came across this Polaroid and immediately thought of you, your love of cameras, and that would make a good addition to the Brick House collection. Cassandra was there in January. Oh, I remember Cassandra had 2 old Kodaks and the call for help video. That's right. I remember Cassandra. What does this do? Oh, wow. Darken or lighten. This is some sort of strange add-on. Thank you, Cassandra. Yes. We will. I wish I could get film for this. I'd be taking pictures with it. Maybe I can. Does it work? Do you know, Cassandra? She showed me her cameras. I was very jealous. 2 beautiful old Kodaks. Oh, Johnny Jet's here. Here comes Johnny.
How you doing?
Hey, Johnny. How are you?
Good. You want to guess where I am?
I will, but not yet. It looks like you're in an East German prison, but I'm sure it's not. That's not the answer.
I don't think East German prisons are this nice.
No. Well, we can't tell from there, so.
I'm on a ping pong table right now. I'm using it as a desk.
Oh, that's funny. Hold on, we're gonna be a couple more minutes.
But no one can see it. No one can see.
No, I've put you in the screen behind me. You're now the Oz, the great and powerful. We're off to see the Johnny.
I just broke my headset.
Oh, no, John. Johnny.
So now I'm trying to figure out a way to make it look somewhat presentable.
Speaking of green screens, we're building a green screen facility for your travel show and for our medical tech show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, that's what the back room is supposed to be. Yeah, haven't you been ordering stuff for it, John? No?
Me?
Not you, John Slanina.
Oh, okay. I was like, I haven't ordered jack.
Well, we've been ordering stuff for the back room, haven't we? Like lighting? No? No, if you don't know, I don't know who would know. No one else. Jeff Needles has been ordering it. How do you know? Wait a minute. You're going to get... Slanina's going to beat you up, Jeff.
I don't know. Maybe Lisa talked to Ryan.
I think she has talked to Ryan, yeah.
What about video?
What's happening to my shot? My shot got messed up.
What about video and audio?
My Jeff shot. Not this shot. The Jeff shot.
Jib? We fix it, Jib?
Jib. Padre SJ says, wait a minute, Leo. That's where Burke and I sleep at night. That's the little hotel, the Twit Hotel. You know what else Lisa and I were talking about is getting a San Francisco apartment for Twit. Wouldn't that be cool that we could have guests like Baratunde when he comes out could stay there, Andy Anatko, just to have
Can I stay there?
Yeah. Yeah, we were thinking of just getting, an apartment in San Francisco, furnished apartment in San Francisco, and that way when, and then, of course, Lisa and I could stay there when we felt like last night instead of going home.
Exactly, and those places by the ballpark or on that inlet are great.
Yeah.
Those condos are very small, but
it would be, it's all right. It's
perfect.
small, like a studio would be fine, because it's just, it's somewhere we could say, hey, we've got a place for you.
And then
because we're putting up Andy when he comes out here.
Once I get that living room fixed up.
Oh.
A couple of futons.
Okay. Wow.
What's Andy?
What did you think?
Hold on there. Here we go.
All right.
Is this brought to you by anybody, or are we just on our own here?
This is a free.
This is brought to you by you, our listening audience. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We were talking about how to raise money, how to make money at podcasting, and don't go anywhere. Or did we already? I think he already gave up, our German caller. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But right now, no, he was calling from Germany. He was calling from just south of Leipzig. Speaking of traveling, it's Johnny Jet time. He's in his big old jet airliner flying all around the world. And whenever Johnny is somewhere not at home in Los Angeles, we like to think, where in the world could he be? Now, Johnny, unless you show me more of your scenery, I'm going to assume you're in a prison.
All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you outside the window right now.
Okay, outside. Oh, it's a round window. It's raining. I think you're in Cape Cod.
You're pretty close.
Well, it's somewhere in New England. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
It's where I grew up.
It was either Hobbiton or Connecticut. I knew it was either the Shire or Connecticut. Oh, so you're at home. You're in the family estate.
Well, I'm actually at my cousin's house right now. Last night I was at my brother's babysitting his 3 kids.
Oh, wow.
Alone.
Oh, wow. He's at the Jet compound in Hyannisport. And and Johnny is our travel expert. JohnnyJet.com is his website. Well, what do you got for us this week, Johnny?
All right, so I got a few things. One, by the way, I was just looking at Twitter, and I saw a deal tweeted for last minute from Houston to Athens tomorrow for round trip $855. So
our truck driver is going to Athens.
Not too bad, right?
Hey, let me ask you, because this is something you probably know something about. You travel so much. Has the currency crisis in the EU, particularly in Greece and Cyprus, made it is it very cheap to go to Greece right now?
It made it a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
The hotels are hurting, and
so they're happy.
You can definitely find a deal.
And they're happy to get you there.
I heard 20% off at hotels, but I think it might even be greater.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I love Greece, but you don't want to spend that much time in Athens. You want to get out and go out to the island.
We're going to the islands. Lisa and I are going to the islands in September. I can't wait.
Lucky dog. So have you ever heard of the site Flightcaster?
No, tell me about it.
But by the way, I emailed you a bunch of links just now.
Oh,
so
golly. The
take a
email.
look.
Okay, I'll have to open my email. I haven't done that in a couple of months, but let's see.
But you go to flightcaster.com, or it's an app. And I love it. This week, by the way, I was in Memphis, Tennessee, speaking at a big conference. And one of my buddies is like, hey, I need to find out if my flight's on time. What are the chances of it? Because I heard there's bad weather in New York. I go, well, go to flightcaster.com. 6 hours before your flight departs, it will give you a pretty accurate prediction if your plane is going to take off or not. It's just for domestic flights, so only for U.S.
And this is based on previous experience, the records of the airline.
10 years, but no, they also look at the where the plane's coming from. They know where the plane's coming from.
Yeah, and I've noticed that, and you probably know all about this. I try to avoid, for instance, if I'm going coast to coast, stopping in Chicago. A lot of airlines, United particularly, likes to stop there. And there's always bad weather in Chicago. Summer, it's thunderstorms. Winter, it's snow. And it's
without a doubt.
Yeah, so I try to avoid that just because I feel like I'm going to get delayed there. Denver.
Well, actually, this week for that conference in Tennessee, it was a perfect example. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I had to fight for the nonstop flight, and I had to find a cheaper ticket, the way to do it. And I talked about it a few weeks ago. But everyone else had to do a connection, and they were all delayed by hours, some even days, because there was nasty weather in Dallas and Chicago.
Yep.
So it pays to go nonstop, and there's tricks on how to get cheaper tickets. And actually, that's my next subject.
Yes. So let me reiterate, flightcaster.com. They've got iPhone and Android apps you could also put on your phone.
Yep.
I'm sorry, no, iPhone and
BlackBerry.
Fooled me. BlackBerry. Fooled me. I didn't know. Wow. Haven't seen that logo in a while. What else you got, Johnny?
All right. So I was trying to get my wife a ticket from LA to Toronto for actually this past week, and I was doing it a couple weeks ago. And, most people who are addicted to their miles, they only go to the airline website. So let's say there's a lot of United mileage junkies out there. I was one of them in the old days.
Yeah.
And that's a mistake. If you just go to United.com or Delta.com or whatever and just put in your flights, for example, for this flight, United was bringing up a flight for $525 nonstop.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's ridiculous. So I looked at other online agencies. I actually have a really good booking tool on my site, so I brought it up, and I saw that that same actual flight was for $347. So it saved me almost $200 just by spending 30 seconds of my time to going and checking out different sites. So the moral of the story is, do not rely on just going to an airline website. You'll still get your miles, and there's a lot of people out there that do it though.
Yeah.
And I
one of them.
emailed you the screenshots.
Okay.
That's a mistake.
Yeah. Never email me anything because I never check my email because it's full of stuff. Let me just go to my email real quickly and find it. So that's good to know though. Who do you use? Kayak, Hipmunk?
I use them all. A shameless plug. I use JohnnyJet.com because we have a booking tool where you put in your city pairs and your dates, and then it brings up, it will bring up Orbitz, it will bring up Travelocity, Expedia, Kayak. Kayak does a really good job out of all of them, but not always. So that's why you need to check the others.
And here's the screenshots. They're actually on JohnnyJet.com. And finally, and I love this, give your miles to a soldier.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's Memorial Day weekend, and this is my favorite weekend of the year. And last Memorial Day, I was flying. And whenever I see a soldier on the plane and I get upgraded, which is not very often that I get upgraded, but when I do, I almost always give them my ticket.
Aren't you great? That's such a great thing to do.
But you know what? There's so many frequent flyers that don't know they can do it. Or they can, and in the past, I've actually upgraded myself and a soldier. So you can do that. It's the best way to use your certificates because if it wasn't for these guys, we would not have the freedom of flying around the world.
That's right. And by the way, American Airlines, you give them a little shout out because they do such a nice job honoring our military.
They really do.
And that's something to note on Memorial Day. And I love that idea. And I'll tell you what, next time I'll give my upgrade to a soldier. That's a really nice idea.
Good.
JohnnyJet.com. This is why we love you, Johnny.
All right.
Have safe travels. Enjoy Connecticut and your nephews or whatever.
Yeah, it's my nephews. Yes.
have a great time, and
Thanks.
we will see you next week. JohnnyJet.com, the place to go, or follow him on Twitter. You'll always get, that's where he tweets out those great last-minute travel deals at Johnny Jet. Thanks, Johnny.
All
Take
right,
care.
Leo. Have a good one.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We were talking before, Johnny, with was it David from Germany who said, "How do I make money in this business?" And I mentioned that you can try to charge, but it's tough. And here's what I've come to my conclusion on all of this: the people who make money are the Wall Street Journal, newsletters like Giga Ohm Pro. And for the most part, these are services that make their subscribers money. If you're willing to pay to read the Wall Street Journal online because you know it's going to make you money, it's going to pay off, it's an investment. You're not going to pay for something that's just for fun. The other things that make money online and do quite well are sites that train you. Lynda.com is a good example. She can charge for her videos. And there are lots of places that do this because they are imparting skills, again, I think, that make you money. Skills that help you get a better job or get better at your job or get a promotion. So if you want to extract money from people, it's either got to be something that they just can't live without. You know, Ultimate Fighting Championship seems to do pretty well on pay-per-view. Look and see what does well on pay-per-view. But we've never tried, well, like I said, we tried and gave up quickly asking people for money. And I've never requested or required money. My favorite is what we do, and what I've done for the last 30 years in my business is free ad-supported media. Love it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, if you add value. I didn't really do a pivot. I gave up. I said, all right. We had advertisers who wanted to be on. The first year, we had one advertiser. Starro.com, and I don't know how much we made, $80,000 or something. Second year, we made $300,000. We got a couple more advertisers. I was using PodTrack to sell the sales. Third year, we made $600,000, then $1.2 million, then $2.4 million. Last year, we made $6 million in advertising, with admittedly with 25 shows and many paid hosts and stuff. But you know, we built a business around it. But advertising works. And it gets back to that key thing, which is community. If you have, as we do, and it's you, a devoted community that is engaged, is paying attention, is watching, then ads will work. And we're very careful about what advertisers, we only put on advertisers that we use, products that we use. Oh, my God. That's a lot of pretzels. Jeff, they're all for Jeff? Jeff, you got 2 cases of Snyder's of Hanover pretzels? Oh, you got them at Costco? He's still building his Death Star there. So but the other thing we do is we give you a lot of value, right? And so it doesn't always have to be an advertiser. We talk about products all the time that are not advertiser based, and this is one I just bought and I really kind of like. I wanted to show you. It's called Card Ninja, and it is this is actually, I'm going to show you a trick, because this is not a Card Ninja. It's a Card Ninja copy I got on Amazon. So the Card Ninja, I think, is like 12 or 13 bucks. It's a little stretchy case that it glues onto the back of your phone or your phone case, and it's stretchy enough that you can put credit cards, driver's license. It becomes your little mini wallet. See, I think girls will like this, because the reason I thought of it is Lisa's always given me her credit card and driver's license, saying, "Can you carry this for me?" It'll hold a little cash, and because it's stretchy, it really does a good job of holding it. And now that's my wallet and my phone. So the original brand was Card Ninja, but as you can see, this is not Card Ninja. This is Sinjimoro, and I got it for a lot less. Let me just look on Amazon how much it is. And the reason I ended up getting this is it came in red, and Card Ninja was only available in black. So, Sinjimoru. For all I know, they invented it. I don't know who invented it. $12.99 for the pouch, and they come in a variety of colors. And then the Card Ninja is 19 or 20 bucks. So it's not a huge amount more. I think what I did is I went to Amazon, searched for Card Ninja, and then I saw Sinjamoro. And as far as I can tell, the quality's the same. I ordered both just to see. And it's a 3M backing, so it's it peels off. And you're right. Then if you lose your phone, you lose everything. But don't lose your phone or your wallet. That would be a bad idea. See, this way, when you go clubbing, see, I know Heather knows this. When you go clubbing, you don't want to carry a big old purse. You want to have something that you could just,
really handy.
Stick in your boot.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Right? Do you wear this in your boots?
I actually have a really cool Michael Kors little belt. That
Oh,
has
isn't that cute?
Phone-sized
Oh,
thing
that's
on
perfect.
It for concerts, so you can go like
perfect.
Woo! And but when I've put credit cards and money in with the phone into it, and you pull out the phone, everything like goes flying on the floor.
I'm going to give
really
you
like
this
that.
Card Ninja is yours. This is yours. I got 2 Shinjamoros for Lisa and me, and you can have this one.
Nice. And it's black?
Black, do you mind?
Perfect.
I think you're the black type.
Black and white.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is this Daft Punk?
No, this is a Tribe Called Quest. Carbonite's your live read.
Thank you. Oh, actually, I'm behind, aren't I? I owe you 2.
No, we're just one here.
Okay. Well, I won't do 2 in 1.
Well, yeah.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Miss Heather H. Who should I talk to next?
Well, he really
Your
kind of put
choice.
the screws to me. So, because Jonathan in Melbourne, Florida, is about to go into a store.
Oh.
And he's going to buy something
Oh,
on
dear.
your recommendation.
Oh, dear. Let's talk to him, and maybe we can talk him down. Talk him off that ledge. Jonathan, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
Well, I'm great. So you're standing outside of a store, huh?
No, sir. I'm standing inside of a store right in front of the Surface display.
Ooh.
And I've been researching it a bit. I've watched your unboxing and review on your Twitch YouTube channel, and I feel like the Surface RT is the way I can go. So I'll give you a little bit of what I do, and maybe you can recommend whether or not to get this.
Okay.
Full-time student, but I'm also the student body president, so there are a lot of documents I've got to access on the fly while I'm typing reports and doing research and watching YouTube videos.
Okay.
I have a laptop that I use for my business. I own a small performing arts studio for kids. I use PowerPoint to create backdrops and write scripts.
Awesome.
And things like that. So I have a laptop for that. The tablet, I really just need for school and, on-the-fly entertainment. I feel like the RT would do that.
I think it's perfect for what you want. First of all, you're in the Windows world. You want PowerPoint on that, even though you won't be doing PowerPoint on that. It'd be nice to have it on there, wouldn't it?
For school, absolutely.
Yeah. And one of the things the RT comes with, which I like, is a full office suite. All of this for $499. I would recommend buying the type cover. That's another $120 on top of it, because then you have the capability of really using it as a laptop.
Yeah, I'm using that right now.
Yeah.
And it's
They have
much
2
better.
kinds. Touch is a membrane that doesn't have any key movement. I really like the type, and it's only a little bit more expensive. I am actually.
Leo, I'm looking at this, talking to you. This is so cool.
I think, I'll be your salesman for the day, and I get no commission. I'm not a huge fan of Windows 8, but I have to say, of all the Windows 8 incarnations, RT, the tablet version, seems to me the most sensible. So I think it's pretty good. Now, the only thing I might mention is that there has been rumor that Microsoft would announce the next generation Surface next month.
Oh.
But that's only rumors, and not even very good sources. So it could be, I'm just saying, but anytime you buy a computer, there's always that risk. It would be a little soon. The RT just came out in September, so it would be a little soon, or October, so it'd be a little soon.
I mean, I can get by a month if you recommend waiting.
I don't know, because I don't know how credible that rumor is.
Well, use your psychic powers, Leo.
Well, I'll tell you why it might happen. Intel has a new chip. Well, see, I think it'll be the Windows 8 Pro that they'll update. I don't think they're going to update the RT, which is based on an ARM processor. So I think you're safe. If you like the RT and the price is right on the RT, I have to say, and you get a full office suite with it, I think it's a pretty good deal at $499.
All right. Well, thank you.
I'd say go for it.
I think I'll do that. And by the way, you recommended the Lenovo X220 for me for school a couple of years ago. Love that.
Yeah,
so
Lenovo's great.
Recommendation this time.
Yeah, I think the RT is pretty cool. It's a little kind of just play with it. Make sure you like the size, the weight, the design, because it's a little squarish. It's a little funky, but it's not bad at all. And I think it's a pretty good little device.
So if all I need is Office and a couple of apps such as, Dropbox, things like that, then I'm good to go.
Yep. Doesn't have a lot of storage. Do get the 64 gig version, yeah, get as much storage as you can, because why not? You can't add anything. Hey, I really thank you for calling, Jonathan. Have fun with your new RT.
Thank you, Leo. Take care.
You're welcome. There are other, there's the Yoga, which is great. It's the Lenovo version. There are not a lot of choices in the Windows RT. This is very confusing. I should explain what's going on. Microsoft Windows 8 has several versions. There's a Windows 8 traditional desktop version. They call that Pro. There's the RT version, which doesn't run the same software, but it looks the same. Well, that's very confusing. It's running not on an Intel chip, but an ARM processor. It's got better battery life. It's more for the mobile. And I think it's actually pretty good. Acer, Asus, Lenovo all make RT-based tablets. But I think Microsoft's the one. I really do. Microsoft's the one. If I had more solid feeling that they were going to do this in June, I might say wait. I just don't know. It seems awfully soon. 8 months later to update it. I think it works pretty well. And I don't think you need to worry about it, even if they do release a faster one or a better battery life one. It's pretty credible. It's a pretty good device. Gail is in Covina, California, our next caller. Hi, Gail. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi.
Hey.
Boy, after listening to all these calls this morning, this is going to be pretty boring.
Never.
But we are going to purchase... we decided on an Apple because my grandson is graduating from high school, and we don't think he is going to function with Windows 8.
Most of us don't function with Windows 8.
No.
Has he used Macs before?
No, but, we went into the Apple store, and it just seemed so easy.
Absolutely. My daughter, when she went to college, I gave her a MacBook. My son is going to Colorado University Boulder in the fall. He'll get a MacBook. I think it's a very good choice. What is he study? Is it, you said grandson or son?
Grandson.
What is he studying?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, good. He shouldn't know. He's a freshman.
History or government.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
I would call the school, first of all, and see what they recommend. Most schools nowadays, it doesn't matter, but sometimes there's a preference. If you were going to an engineering program, for instance, it might be better to get a Windows machine. But for history, for liberal arts, boy, there's nothing better than a Mac. Okay. The other thing is, ask them if they have a discount, because most schools will have a college discount.
Right. We know that. We just have to get his registration information, because we're going back there and we're going to all purchase this together. But this is my question.
Yes.
We have been in the Apple store several times, and we've looked at the MacBook Air and we've looked at the MacBook Pro. And, for the same price, we get 128 gigabyte flash storage, which I'm not even sure I know what that is.
It's a fast hard drive. The Air is more expensive because it's
100 gigabyte.
Right. The Air is more expensive because it's thinner and lighter.
Right, and it's very nice.
I love the Air. My son's been using a 13-inch Air all through high school. Loves it. One thing I would recommend, and you have the luxury of doing this because school doesn't start for a few months.
Right.
Almost certainly, this rumor is, I'm convinced, true. There will be new MacBooks coming out in June.
Oh.
And the way Apple works is they won't change the price, but they will give you more for the same price. So you really don't want to buy it now.
Okay.
Apple's pretty good, I have to say. If you buy it within, I can't remember if it's 4 weeks. I think it's 4 weeks. A new one comes out. They will give you the upgrade for free. But I still would just wait. And that might help your decision.
Okay.
I think, thin and light is great. The only issue with college is thin and light also means easy to steal.
Yeah. Yes.
Not that it's that much easier to steal than a MacBook. They're both pretty thin and light.
Right.
You get more power with a MacBook. You can get a higher resolution screen, the Retina display, which if he's doing photography or anything where a display quality is important, might make a difference. I'm a fan of the Air. I think that's the best choice out there. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Why do you say that, 9132? She was asking whether to get an Air or not. What do you think I should have said? Oh, save your money and buy a netbook. Seriously, what how did that reflect that?
Get the highest color brightness that way. 3 times the brightness of leading competitive business models. And brightness means everything. It makes your presentations off. These 3 LCD engines don't have color wheels.
She was, after all, asking
Between white brightness and color brightness.
asking which Mac to buy.
All look great. So the next time you're looking for a business projector, keep an eye out for 2 things. You got to have a projector that offers both white and color brightness. And make sure
No, I doubt he wants me to suggest Linux. And by the way, not such a great deal. I just ordered the Dell XPS Linux-based laptop. Yeah, he's trolling. I know. I shouldn't even mention. I shouldn't even acknowledge trolls. But sometimes I just have to. Yeah, and I did mention that Smokey Bear that she should go through the college. How is it limited, ResLab? In what way is Air more limited than a, say, HP Envy? In exactly what way is it limited? That I don't understand. PCs are PCs. I don't think a Windows or a Mac one was more limited than the other. Yeah, the Dell XPS Linux laptop is more than the Air. It's like $1,500, $1,600. It's ridiculous. You're paying for hardware, not the OS at this point. Yeah. Thank you, Big Ginge. I was so tempted. I got it, but I haven't gotten it. They said it'll come in the next couple of weeks. And I just get everything because that's my job and I have a budget to do that. You want me to tell you why I hate Windows 8? Yeah, it has an SD card slot, but that's because they don't need as much room for the antennas. I don't care about the SD card slot. The only thing that keeps me from using the one is the battery. And I carried yesterday. I went to the ball game, and I carried 2 batteries with me, and I literally went through 3 batteries on the S4. And on the one, I would have been dead in the water. I have a Mophie case for it, but I would have been. It still wouldn't have gone all the way through. I do hate Metro. I think Metro is fine on a tablet, which is why I said go ahead and buy the RT, but not a good idea on a desktop. Doesn't make any sense at all.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte.
I buy it so you don't have to. The one is beautiful. And they're talking, there's a strong rumor that HTC is going to offer a Google Experience One, a Nexus Experience One, which would be amazing. You want to hear specific hate for Windows 8? Sure. It's a crappy operating system where Microsoft split the baby. They took a tablet operating system and merged it with a desktop operating system, and there's all sorts of areas of confusion. For instance, Internet Explorer, there's 2 versions, different capabilities, different UI, both named Internet Explorer. One's Metro, one's desktop. If I could take the Metro off of Windows 8, it'd be fine, but then it'd just be Windows 7 improved. And Microsoft obviously feels like they have to do a tablet OS. It's a big mistake. Huge mistake. And by the way, it's not just me. The entire PC industry is failing because of this mistake.
You're tuned to
It's not that bad. That's a strong recommendation, Macca.
We'll begin at 6 minutes past.
It's not that bad. Windows 8, not that bad. I mean, I love the hardware on this. This is a wonderful notebook, this S7. And I can use it. It's not like I'm not able to use Windows 8, but I don't prefer it. And it's no surprise to me that HP and other companies are starting to ship Windows 8 with a start menu.
This is Premier Channel 7.
No surprise to me at all that Microsoft is now going to update Windows 8 with boot to desktop.
From Premier Radio Network.
It's pretty obvious what's happening. The One does take forever to charge. They've done something interesting with the Galaxy S4. They have this kind of hypercharging for the first 80%. So the S4 comes back to life very fast and gets up to 80% very fast, then slows down for that last 20%. The One takes hours, like 5 or 6 hours to charge. It's ridiculous. I love the camera on the One. It is the best camera, better than the iPhone. But it's not enough to get me to use the One, and some of the HTC stuff gets in the way. Steampunk Blacktop is coming. He says he's almost done. No, I have a Mophie case for the One. That gives me double the battery life. It's still not enough. The Lumia is beautiful. I love the Lumia. And the battery life is better on the
Leo
Lumia.
Laporte, the tech guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour. From Premier Radio Network.
No, it's not so good in low light. And I took some low light photos. In fact, I can show you those. Last night of the fireworks with the S4. And actually, they came out pretty good. So these are all S4 photos. You know, here's bright light.
You are tuned to Premier Channel 7.
The clarity is good, and all that. This is bright light. This is a silly feature, the cinematograph feature in S4, where you can make one thing move and then other things stay still. These are all S4 pictures. I think, handheld on a boat. Now we're going to get a little darker. This is a zoomed-in shot. That's why it's a little grainy of the moon.
This is Premier
zoomed in like 2 or 3x.
The tech guy will begin at 6 minutes past.
These are fireworks with the S4 in night mode. Hard to handhold, very grainy, but hey, we're getting the fireworks. I mean, I think that's a good shot. It's a camera phone. I should have brought the HTC One. It would have been dead by now anyway, but take pictures. Now, we're on a boat, and so there's going to be some motion blur in some of this. But these are it's pretty dark out. The motion blur is because it's hard to handhold, and the boat's actually moving. So it was hard to get a crisp shot. But I think, had we been standing still, I think these would have been good. You can see the grain in the sky. And that's that. That's my son. That's Henry. So we get home from the ball game about midnight. We took the ferry last night. And Jennifer texts me, says, Abby and I are in Stinson Beach. Could you go by the house and just make sure Henry's not having a party? Because he promised me he wouldn't, but I'm just nervous. So Lisa and I drove over, and oh yeah, Henry's having a party. I got to do the, I never have done this before. I got to do the risky business, dad coming home. Everybody out! Everybody out! The party's over! And then I found one kid dead drunk. He lying on his back. He'd vomited. It's very lucky he didn't die in the guest room. We got him up and walked and called his dad. Got his dad to get him. I almost called 911, but I called his dad. And then another kid passed out upstairs. I rolled him over and said, "Are you okay?" Everybody out! Oh Lord. Well, no, I didn't say he could have. Nobody said he could have a party, but of course. I was at a ball game and Mom wasn't home, so he thought he was very embarrassed. Good. And he'll be renting a carpet cleaner later in the day, cleaning all the carpets in the house. No, nobody died, but I said your friend could be dead now. You risked his life. Do you understand that? So stupid. So stupid. Yeah, he's getting ready. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo if you want to talk tech. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm doing it. Oh, man, computers, the internet, portable devices like cell phones, laptops, tablets. We talk about anything with a chip in it, anything digital, anything technology, and I love doing it. If you give me a ring, I will talk about it. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Heather is there answering the calls, our great call screener. It's so much fun having you here, Heather. Thank you for joining the team. For many years, she worked with the other tech guy, Dr. Dean Adele, helping people with their bunions. And it's very similar, isn't it? It's kind of a similar thing, right? It's kind of techy and geeky and.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Dean's great. He's just great, and he retired. I didn't steal you.
Yes.
He retired, and you got 10 years out of me, and then I'm sorry, it's over.
Okay. All's fair.
How old, just out of curiosity, was Dean when he retired? Do you know?
Oh, when did that happen? I want to say he was like 69 years old.
Oh, gosh. So I got a long way to go. 13 years.
Yeah, well, depending. I mean, he kept going for so long. You're like, you can quit.
Paul Harvey continued into his 90s.
Oh, he died on the air, didn't he?
I think practically. It's hard to tell. Paul Harvey could. And that was all we heard.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The gap between good and day was
long. It was not good.
Woof.
Day.
Good.
I know somebody who ran into him in the elevator coming down from his broadcast booth, and he went in the elevator and said, "Hello, Americans." I adore Paul Harvey, and I'm not making jokes at his expense. He was one of the radio immortals and a really amazing broadcaster. Yeah.
Trip people out like that when you have like such a remarkable
Americans.
voice.
Stand by for the third floor. Do you have another caller for me?
Yes, Keith in L.A. has a question for you.
Let's say hello to Keith in Los Angeles. Hello, Keith. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hi.
Good afternoon to you. I have a Kindle Fire HD with 16 gigs of memory, and I want to know if there's a way to increase the memory.
No, there's no. That's and it was cheap, right? It was a couple $100.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's an as-is device. The memory is soldered onto the circuit board inside of that. You can't even open it up to get to it. And if you do pry it apart, you'd have to desolder. You can't. No. But I have to say the price was right. Are you running out of storage?
Well, yeah. I'm running out of storage because I found a way to put my movies and everything on it.
Yeah.
And I want to do more.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. All you could do, you could root, if you really get ambitious, you could root it, which means to take over the device and get full access to it, put Android on it, which probably would be a little bit smaller, but you're not going to get a lot of extra space. The good news is, they're going to come out with more and better and bigger and less expensive. We thought Nexus, the Google Nexus 7 would have an update at the Google conference a couple of weeks ago. They did not announce that. The Kindle Fire's been updated already, and I think more to come. And for $200, I think you got a great device. 16 gigs for $200, that's a great device. Remember, a lot of this stuff can live in the cloud. You can stream it, so you can stream Amazon movies. You don't have to download them to the device. I think that's what Amazon was thinking when they designed this. They didn't expect you to store a lot of stuff, so they didn't give you a lot of storage. You can stream the music from Amazon Music, which I do, by the way, and I love it. The amount of storage on your device has become less important than it used to be. When the iPods first came out, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now there's a 160 gigabyte iPod, 128 gigabyte iPad, tons of storage. But on this Galaxy S4 that I just got, it's a 16 gig device that quite notoriously only has about 8 gigs free when you get it. There's not a lot of storage on this thing. Now, sure, you can put an SD card in it, but most of the stuff that you want has to be in the main memory. You very quickly run out of RAM on this thing. You couldn't put a lot of, I guess if you put it on an SD card, and you could put more music and movies on it. But really the idea is, and this is Google's idea as well as Amazon's, is, hey, don't store it, stream it. There's only one negative, and I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, Matt, or Keith. You're thinking, yeah, but what if I'm in an airplane or I'm offline? How do I watch a movie then? And that's the real drawback to that. But you can cache music ahead of time and cache a movie or two ahead of time. You just can't store a ton of stuff. So no upgradability there. For that price, that's not really surprising. Matt in Fontana, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. I'm a big fan. Watched you on the screensavers back how many years ago?
Oh, my. Many, many moons. 1998 to 2004.
Yeah, good times. So I actually upgraded to the Galaxy S4, and I was at Costco, and I ran into the guy there at the wireless kiosk, and I asked him about my unlimited data plan, and he says he knows a way to keep it. And so, sure enough, I got the phone, and he found a way to keep my unlimited data plan with Verizon.
Awesome.
And that's what I said, too.
That's fantastic. A lot of times I recommend going, this guy's not a Verizon dealer. He's a third-party dealer. He and this is true when you go to any of these cell stores like Parrot Mobile or whatever, that they don't say they're an AT&T store or a Verizon store. They have multiple different contracts. It's in their interest to keep you happy as a customer because they make money from your contract. And so they may even go the extra mile that a company store won't. You know, Verizon store, I'm sure, tells their employees, hey, whatever you do, don't mention this. We want to get them off that unlimited plan. But this guy doesn't, you know, you're his customer. He wants to make you happy, not corporate. So good deal.
Right.
How did he do it? Do you know?
Yeah, I do, actually. So we had multiple lines on our account, and so basically he took the line that didn't have any data plan on there and put the phone on that plan, and then just moved it over.
Sure. That didn't trigger the reset. It was just added to your existing plan, your existing minutes with shared minutes.
Right, exactly. And, I mean, the best thing of all was with Costco, I was able to pay the tax on the cost of the phone, not the full retail.
Excellent.
So it was like $220 out the door, literally.
That's And do you like it?
I love it. I love it. I rooted it last night. So I got all the Wi-Fi tethering. And
I saw that the Verizon Galaxy S4 has been rooted. That didn't take long. That's great.
No, well, they had a whole month to do it. So
yeah, that's plenty of time. I have an unlocked Galaxy S4 because I wanted the European version with the Exynos processor.
Oh, lucky you.
Well, no, you know what? It's not that. 4 cores versus 8 cores. Who cares? It's still way fast, right? No matter what. And I have to use it with T-Mobile as a result. But T-Mobile in my neck of the woods is quite good, so I'm happy about that. And they have the $70 unlimited plan, so it's unlimited everything. So,
oh, that's great.
And no LTE, though. You've got that great Verizon LTE is fabulous.
Yeah, it really helps when I'm connected with my X1 Carbon on the Wi-Fi. And
yeah.
So
you use it as your internet access. No wonder you want to keep that unlimited.
Yeah, definitely.
Verizon's got to be unhappy about keeping you as a customer.
Well, I wasn't sure if I should report this or not. You know.
No, yeah, just don't mention your last name. That's okay, man.
Yeah.
It's a Frederick in Montana. I mean, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, good. Congratulations on your good luck, your good fortune.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Mazel tov.
I do have another question regarding to my Windows 7. I got the Asus Formula V motherboard, and I updated the BIOS on it. I skipped to several versions on the BIOS, and now Windows 7, whenever I access like 3 or 4 of my hard drives, I get an error that says disk I/O error.
That's not good. Let me think about that. We're going to have to take a break, and I will give you your answer on the air, Matt. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, there are a number of reasons why I buy these unlocked phones. One, because they're unlocked. I don't like the carrier cruft, but the main reason is I can get it sooner than you get it. So Verizon just started offering these. I was able to get this 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I go to Expansys and I order them, and I usually get it a little bit sooner than you can get it. So the point is that I need to get it as quickly as it's available so I can review it. And I reviewed this a few weeks ago. I don't think it's worth the $800 I spent on it if you can get it subsidized from your carrier. I don't think the 8-way Exynos is any better than the 4-core Snapdragon that's on it, at least not in real-world use. Although I haven't done a head-to-head, so I can't say for sure. They're both fast, plenty fast. I like getting the unlocked, kind of as vanilla as possible phones for review purposes. So again, that's something that I do that's different, but it's different because of my different needs, not because I would recommend that. The problem with Amazon, and I've seen this happen in a number of different situations, is when you order a phone or anything from Amazon, they may give it to you from a different vendor than the one that's on the screen. And some vendors are less good than others. So it may be billed as an unlocked phone, and it may in fact be an unlocked phone from the vendor that's on the screen, but you may have gotten it from a different vendor. So that's why I go with Expansys. Expansys is where I get all my phones. EXPANSYS. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, our caller before the break, updated his BIOS, went a couple of steps ahead, and all of a sudden his hard drives don't work. That's not so good. Not sure why, although you can in some cases roll back the BIOS. If you have an ASUS, for instance, chat room's telling me the crash-free BIOS recovery will let you fix that. I don't know if it's a BIOS issue, but here's one thing I would do. When you update the BIOS, it may have wiped the memory, the configuration memory on the drive, on the computer, the motherboard. So if there is a setting in your setup, you know when you first boot the computer, and all of this is changing rapidly. Nowadays on most computers, you never see this, but underneath the brand name, there is a message that says, press F2 or F10 or escape or delete to get into BIOS setup. This is to set up the software that runs before your operating system runs. It's the very basic input-output system of the computer, BIOS, that tells it how to access hard drives. Its computer has to know how to do that before it can load the operating system. It's sitting on the hard drive. So this very fundamental mini operating system loads first, then loads the big operating system, Windows. You can change parameters in BIOS, in the BIOS setup. For instance, you can say what the boot order is. You can tell it what time it is. There's all sorts of stuff. In there's often something called Enhanced System Configuration Data, or ESCD, that the motherboard stores in a non-volatile part of the memory on the motherboard, something that will last between boots. Knowledge about what hard drives exist and so forth. Resetting that sometimes will help this situation. It may be that it didn't know about these drives, so I would try reset the ESCD. It may have a menu item that says that, or something like reset configuration data. PC Guy says if the drive was changed from AHCI to ATA, it would have BSOD'd on him if it was his main drive. But if I said that on this show, it would turn it into a foreign language program, so we won't say that. We won't mention that. Just restore the defaults and see if that works. 8888 Ask Leo. Sorry, Matt, I can't be more help. You're a geek, obviously, and it's kind of a tricky question. Tom in Warren, Ohio. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Leo?
I hear you great. And yes, by the way, the chat room saying, I don't want to have to worry about this. You don't. This is for people who build their own systems and flash their own BIOSes. What can I do for you?
Hey, I'm looking for a new car, too, so I'm joining the club with you.
Yeah, what are you thinking about?
I'm looking at, I think, an Equinox. I like a crossover-type vehicle. It's got the nice 7-inch touchscreen interface with MyLink and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I got to have high-tech in the car. Got to have it.
Oh, yeah, I like the ones that they got. I think MyLink and Q for Cadillac, I think they got rated the best at CNET over there, or CES.
I should try it then. I should try it. I drive a 2010 Mustang, and because Ford was a longtime sponsor, and I've been very happy with the Ford Sync and all the hands-free in there. But, the funny thing is you only upgrade your car every few years. The technology upgrades every few minutes.
Oh, right, yeah. I thought Brian Cooley did a nice review on the Q system that's in the
I will check it out. Brian's great. Okay.
It looks very nice, and it even responds to your hand getting close to the screen. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's what now the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration is saying, is that any new, their strong recommendations, and I think car manufacturers will pay attention to this, any new system like this should only require a total of 12 seconds eyes off the road in the full operation, no more than 2 seconds at a time. I think the whole idea is to not look down at all.
Right.
not looked down at all. And so
driving is a big problem.
yeah, it's a very big problem. And you know, they talk about cell phones, but what's more distracting that GPS big screen down there with all the stereo controls and stuff? You could spend hours reading that while you're driving down the highway. That's not safe.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of technology, but I like that stuff.
I do too. You know? I want high tech, but I want safe, and that's what's interesting. Yeah, that's the challenge.
I had a Texcapade today. You have the Roku 3, don't you?
I do indeed. I love it.
Well, I went to use it today. I was going to flip it on Twitch TV, as I usually do.
We have a channel on Roku. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it works great, and I get it high def right on my kitchen. I sit there with coffee and watch Leo. And
thank you. I'll wave right now. Hi, how are you? Can you see you? It's a radio show with pictures.
But anyway, the remote just crapped out. I'm thinking, what's going on? I said, well, I use the headphone feature. Works great. And then what I found out I can do is it turns it into a wired remote, because I plugged the headphone into a Bluetooth speaker system, and then I got great sound too. And that worked great, but the remote just quit working today, and so I called.
Oh no, what a bummer. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I like this new Roku 3. So just to explain for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Rokus, or we're talking about, are a box that lets you effectively attach the internet to your television set. So with it, you can get Netflix, of course. That's what everybody wants. But you can also get Amazon, and you can get other internet broadcasts like mine. We have a little app, and you can put it on there and get it at the channel store. So it effectively gives your television, just as your TV has access to the television world through your antenna or your cable or your satellite box, it gives you access to the internet-based television world. And we love it. And the new thing the Roku 3 has is a remote control with headphone jack. And when my mom was visiting me, she's a little hard of hearing. She tends to turn the TV up really loud. I said, Mom, look at this. Your remote, you plug in your headphones, and you're listening, and you're watching. There's even a volume control on the TV. This is awesome. And she really liked it. But your remote's died. I wonder what's going on.
Well, it didn't really die. I thought it did. I changed it, put new batteries, and I called tech support. I got some foreign country with some Oriental-sounding lady. Helped me okay, but it was kind of hard. I kept
what did they tell you to do?
She had me unplug the AC power,
right,
and then put the batteries back in. And there's a button right next to, if you take the back battery cover off, there's a little button. She said, hold that in for 10 seconds, put it into some enhanced pairing mode, and it seemed like I revived it, and it was just acting like. Because I'd put new batteries in, it worked for 20 seconds,
right.
And then it would quit. So
this is good to know. See, what these are, these devices are computers now, aren't they? And when you have a problem with your computer, what is the advice? Reboot. Or reset, right? So now these things you can't reboot because they're battery-powered, and they don't have a Control-Alt-Delete function. But interesting, they actually put a reset, that's what that button was, a reset button in the Roku remote. So you pull power, you hit the reset button. That resets all the parameters, or maybe even, it sounds like it puts it into a different mode. But that's the same thing with the Roku box itself. If you ever have problems where it gets sluggish, this is true of a lot of things. You unplug it, you plug it back in, let it reboot. I don't recommend it on any device like perhaps your DVR, your set-top box, any device with a spinning hard drive. Dangerous to unplug a device because it's pulling the power. If the hard drive is being written to at that moment, you can make it unusable. Unbootable. But almost all TiVos and DVRs have deep in the menus a reset that will in effect do that through software, and it's often a good idea. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I don't want an all-electric car because I don't I don't want to have to charge it. I was really looking at the Fusion Energy. That's really what I wanted. But then, oh, by the way, somebody said, where do you buy your phones? This is at expansis-usa.com. They're a British company, but they have a USA place. And this is where, when there are new phones coming out, I'll get them from them. If I don't, get it subsidized. But because I was driving the Mustang for so long, I feel like I want something that's kind of more for an old man. Kind of luxurious, relaxing. Something I could sit back in. Also, earlier this week, I had to drive last week down to get 2 of our hosts and bring them up, and I couldn't put Jeff Jarvis in the back seat of the Mustang. He wouldn't have fit.
Oh, funny.
So I need a car that I can drive clients and hosts around and stuff like that. So I'm thinking this. It's a nice car. But a Volt would be fun too. This is very comfy. And it has a lot of tech. The tech in the Audi is pretty neat. I don't know. We went down to the dealer. He said it's going to take a while because the 2014s will be out in a couple of months, so they're just going to hold. They would probably just, if we did a build to order, they would just hold on to it until we didn't put Jeff in the back seat. I borrowed Lisa's car, her Mazda. He did fine. We had a very stimulating conversation as we drove over the bridge intentionally. I like the show, SHO. I do. Negri Electronics. I'll have to check them out. It's not that I don't like other people. It's just that once I've bought enough phones now from Expansys that it's just like, well, I'll go back to them. So, Nathan, do I have... What's the situation with ads? I have 2 Carbonites now to do? Because I missed the first hours.
No, well, you missed the first hour, but we made it up in the second hour because there was no live.
Ah, got it. So I'm in good shape.
Yes, you'll have one.
Thank you.
Segment, or the following segment.
Thank you.
We're done with Roku
Yes.
Tom, yeah?
Yes. Moving on. Well, first of all, isn't there a waiting list for the Tesla? Of course, there's going to be a waiting list for the Audi. What's the waiting list?
They'll get it in the end of June, so it's just a month away.
Oh, that's not bad.
But they said when they walked into the dealership, there was a line to speak with a salesperson.
Wow.
Maybe that should be my Monday.
I've been in a Tesla, and I have several friends who have Teslas. I'm just nervous about having an all-electric. That's why I wanted a hybrid, plug-in hybrid, because you go electric, but then if you need it, you have a gas engine. So if you want to go farther, you can.
Right. I forget what my mom said. They were like, we're not driving to Iowa. Who cares? We'll be fine.
Right.
They do,
It's
go
got
to
300
LA and
miles.
Palm Springs and
It's got
stuff.
300 miles.
Yeah. And I mean, the future is rapidly coming upon us. I think.
That's why I want a gas guzzler now.
Right.
It's the last chance.
But all up and down the east and west coast, there's supposed to be charging stations.
They are. They have
being put in.
superchargers all over the coast. And we have a charger next door here in the parking garage. Got 2 of them.
Oop. Open line. Leo Laporte Show. Which...
DSL Extreme for the billboard.
Thank you. Thank you. Leo Laporte, low riding into the radio. Let's see, Heather. Who should I? I'm just looking at. You got so many good people lined up. Should I talk to Richard next, or Ann, or Herb, or Libby, or John? Who do you like?
Going with John because it's about traveling to Europe.
Well, there we go. We always like to talk about that. John is in New Milford, Connecticut, just down the road a piece from Johnny Jet. Hi, John.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Listen, with your luck, if you buy a car in 6 months, they'll come out with another model. So.
Yeah, that happens, doesn't it? I almost bought a new MacBook, and then I realized, whoa, wait a minute. They're going to have new ones next month. Hold on there.
Yeah. Listen, I'm curious to know. I know that everybody tells me that the Verizon iPhone 5 is unlocked. But what I want to find out is, has anybody gone to Europe with a Verizon iPhone 5 and put the nano chip in it and bought the...
I'm sure somebody has. I think Sarah Lane on my team did. So here's what Verizon did. It's a CDMA carrier, so they don't actually use a SIM card. But the iPhone 5, for a long time, iPhone was GSM only. So they made a special iPhone 5 that is both. CDMA, which is the technology, the cell phone technology used by Sprint and Verizon in the U.S. and mostly nowhere else. And they put a GSM SIM card slot in there. And then Verizon did something, and we know this is the case. We know this is the case. Verizon even acknowledged it. They did something pretty cool. While it's a phone that is locked to Verizon on CDMA, in other words, you can't use it with Sprint. There is no locking on the SIM card, so you could put any carrier's SIM card in there and use that iPhone 5 on that carrier. That means it's unlocked for the GSM, and perfect for travelers. It makes it a global phone.
So I can buy a prepaid data card,
exactly.
data SIM chip,
exactly.
stick it in there.
Exactly, and depending on what country you go to, there's a wiki. Somebody gave me, and I've forgotten the address, but I'm sure the chat room will give me the address again. A wiki for global data SIMs that has every country and what the prices are and who does it, who offers the best and so forth. Let me see if I can find that, because that was a great little wiki. You need anybody in the chat room know? Because where are you going? Where are you planning to go?
Italy.
Italy. I'm jealous. I'm going myself in the fall. One of my favorite countries in the world, but I don't know what the SIM situation is there. So one of our chat mods, Inferno10, says that when he was in Japan, he was able to use a SoftBank SIM in his Verizon iPhone, and he was absolutely able to do that.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so that's for Japan, but that means it does work, and I'm sure it would work in Italy. Let's see if I can find that wiki address, because that's what I really want to give you.
Wiki Memo?
That's not. Memo is that's it. Prepaid with data.wikia.com. That's it.
Perfect.
Prepaid with data. Well, Wiki's a good way to do this, because you get people who are actually using the phones in those countries to say, yeah, it worked with this, it worked with that. That's a very good site to have in your back pocket. And I have bookmarked it, and it really helps for people like you who are traveling, who have a global phone. You just can't do this with every Verizon phone. But I think you've made a good choice there, John.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Leon in Philly, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Leon. Hello, Leon. Oh, I'm sorry. I got Libby in Claremont. Leon, you're next. Hi, Libby.
Hi, Leo. My question is, I want to do some videos for marketing purposes, and I would like to do some post-production editing to make myself appear thinner.
You and me both, Libby. You've seen it happen in the Dove commercials. They just carve the hips,
So my question is there some kind of software that I can buy that is affordable, or is there a company that would do this that's affordable? I just don't know where to turn.
It's very easy to do with Photoshop for a still, but in order to do that in video, you have to have some pretty special software, because it's going to do it in one frame, and then it's going to do it in the next frame, and the next frame, and the next frame. It is totally doable. In fact, it's the dirty little secret of Hollywood that a great many of movie stars have that done in the movies.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know this, but it's very common to do in post. But it's expensive, because if you think about it, that's a lot of frames,
What I was afraid of.
Yeah, and I don't know of a way that's easy to do. Somebody's saying use the photo booth circus mirror feature in the Mac. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I know what you want to do, and I would like to do it too. But I think we're just going to have to be on film, warts and all, I'm afraid. Until you're rich and famous and a movie star, until you're Tom Cruise, it is what it is.
Okay.
Sorry. Wish I could give you... I know how you feel, Libby. Oh, wouldn't it be nice just to slim it down? It is not something that the Hollywood wants you to know. But I've talked to many, many people in the industry say, oh, yeah, we do this all the time. We'll take a movie star who's just got a little more on the hip, a little more on the gut, maybe a couple of extra chins. No problem. Fix that. And then they don't just fix it, in one scene. It's fixed in the entire movie. And it's done far more than we think. And the only reason I mention this, I mean, that's fine. Movies a fantasy world, of course, it's fine. But the only reason I mention it is of course, then we get our body image, our idea of what a good-looking human looks like from that. And we've known forever that in magazines, none of that's real. Dove's done a great job, I think, of explaining how that works. The billboards, the magazines, all of those are heavily edited. Well, first of all, it's makeup and lighting, and then Photoshop. But I think it's important to, when you look at a movie to remember it's all fantasy, including how the movie star looks. The way the movie star looks is completely engineered in many cases. Don't worry, you don't have to look like Tom Cruise. And so, Libby, I think this is one of the things that YouTube is going to bring us, and I think already has to some degree, is a little more freedom in terms of body image. Because nobody's going to do this, you know, for a YouTube video. You look the way you look. You look on YouTube, there's a lot of people who look normal. Now, one thing you could do pretty easily, but it'll be obvious you've done it, is you could shoot it. This chat room's going, well, just shoot it in wide aspect ratio, 16:9, and then deliver it as 4:3. Everything will be squeezed. But it won't just be you, it'll be everything. Everything will look a little squeezed. So I completely sympathize. I don't think there's any way to do that easily. It's very expensive Hollywood-style post-production. Leon in Philly, now you're on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, I've been listening to you since you were on Tech Talk years ago.
Thank you. I'm so glad to have you still in the family.
I'm bedridden now, and on Wednesday they're going to deliver my new laptop.
Awesome.
And I have a desktop, which is which is Windows 7, 64-bit. And I bought an HP laptop, which is 64-bit. And I have an older Belkin cable, which I've used before to transfer stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, can I use it to do 7 to 7?
Yeah.
4-bit.
Yeah, the number of bits won't matter. You'll use the built-in, Microsoft has a built-in transfer utility that'll work.
Yeah.
And you just use that crossover cable. I presume is it USB or is it an Ethernet cable?
USB.
Yeah, it's a specially built USB crossover cable. That should be no trouble at all. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More to come right after this. Yeah, I was thinking of picking it up in Germany. We did that when I was a kid. We went to Europe in 1967, and we picked up our Volkswagen station wagon at the Volkswagen plant in Tübingen or wherever, Bitburg, wherever it is. That was pretty cool. And Volvo does that. A lot of companies do that. I think it's a neat idea, but I don't think we're going to make it to Germany this trip. BMW, I'm sure, still does it. Oh, I forgot it. Happy Towel Day. How could I forget? It's Towel Day. It's Geek Day. It's Douglas Adams, the anniversary of Douglas Adams' death. And it was originally the day the Star Wars Episode 3 came out, right? 4. The first Star Wars. I always get confused. Today's the day that's... Oh, I've completely forgot. So we got to do something to celebrate that. It is Geek Day, Geek Pride Day, or whatever it's called. Maybe Dick will help me celebrate.
Hey, whoops, hi.
Go ahead.
I was talking.
Sorry, didn't mean to leave your mic on. One of these days I'm going to deeply regret that. And then I says, if you think I'm that kind of girl... Okay, I'm going to turn off the mic now. Heather will have privacy. So I told him, mister, you keep your hands to yourself. You're not an octopus. Hey, Dick.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
Happy Geek Day.
No, Leo, it's towel day. I'm wearing my towel. I got my hat on. I'm really geared up to this.
I know.
I am so set.
You see what we're doing is to honor Geek Day. We're building the Death Star for Tuesday's show. Jeff says he swears. Now, Jeff, you still feel on track for Tuesday? You still on track for Tuesday? Yeah, he says sure. Not harder than it was.
And this is going to fly and fire rockets?
It is. It's so exciting. It actually is can destroy planets.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I have a gripe against Saturn. I'd really like to just
Let's blow up Saturn. That'll be on our test.
Let's take 2 of the rings right off Saturn. Bring it down a bit.
I can't believe I forgot that today is Geek Pride Day.
Oh.
How could I have forgotten? Isn't it Towel Day because this is the day Douglas Adams passed away? I thought it was. Not his birthday. Yeah, he died on May 25th, 2001. Yeah. Oh, look. Hey, you're not allowed to have help.
I know. He's got a team. What kind of...
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew. Are we going to have a Geek Pride parade where we all go out in our towels?
Be nice.
Are you a geek, Heather? Do you qualify as a geek? I think you do.
Yet.
I am. No, I'm going to give you an honorary geek.
She's a geekette.
Because I own this now?
Yeah, look at that. How do you like it?
I'm loving it.
Little Miss Ninja.
I haven't put anything in it yet, but I can see.
So you think it's going to good? It's going to work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Carbonite for the live read.
I still get chills when I hear this. In a galaxy long ago and far away. I still get chills when I hear this. Happy Geek Day, everybody! I forgot to mention, this is officially Geek Pride Day.
Oh, yeah. Dennis is baking a cake as we speak.
May 25th, because, and it's also called Towel Day.
Got my towel on.
And that's because Douglas Adams, the creator of the amazing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, passed away on this day in 2001. It's hard to believe it was now this long ago. And I remember when that happened, and we on Tech TV, on May 25th, we wore our towels because, of course, if you've ever heard or watched or listened to or read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know, a towel is something every geek should have with them at all times. And it is the anniversary. Let's see, it was in 1977, right? So this is now the 36th anniversary. That can't be right. Of the release of the first Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 4. 36 years? Can that possibly be?
Yeah, no, I think that is right.
Holy moly. So happy Geek Pride Day. Hope everybody's got their towel. And, wow. Star Wars is 36 years old.
What year did you say?
I think 1977. I remember vividly getting in line in New Haven, Connecticut. No, maybe it was San Jose. It was San Jose.
Okay.
With a lot of geeks. Man, there were a lot of geeks to see this new movie that had just come out. We love George Lucas because of American Graffiti, and the word on the street was this is going to be the best sci-fi movie ever, and everybody was very excited. And I remember it was opening day, and I was in line to see this in 1977 in San Jose at the they had a big domed theater there in Silicon Valley. Wow. Memories.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dick DeBartolo is here. He is Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and you know, Star Wars may be 36, but he's been writing for Mad Magazine now for a total of 5 different decades.
Yeah. Actually, I have my letter from George Lucas hanging in my bathroom at this moment.
Did you write a parody of a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Out. I call it. Right. Yeah, and he sent a letter to myself and to Mort Drucker.
Did he enjoy the parody?
He loved the parody. And the great thing was 3 days later, we got a letter from Lucas's attorneys. He's suing us for copyright infringement, yada, yada, yada. And so I said to Bill, what are you going to do? He says, give me that letter George sent you. He made a Xerox and he scribbled across the lawyer's letter, gee, your boss George liked it.
And that was that.
He sent back our letter, and that was that. Yeah. Exactly.
I think people might know, but if they don't, Dick DeBartolo wrote many of Mad's most famous movie parodies, including Star Wars. Did you ever get sued for any of these?
No. The closest was that letter. Normally the studios like it.
Well, it's legal. It's parody, and of course it's protected speech. So whether they like it or not is immaterial. However,
that's true.
I think George had the right idea. That is an honor to get parodied in Mad Magazine.
I would think.
Yeah. So Dick brings us, besides being this funny guy from Mad Magazine, he brings us gadgets each and every week. And I got one for you, and you can do one for me.
Oh, you have a gadget too?
Yeah, I just got this, and I love it.
Okay, good. All right. Mine are quickies. It's from a company called Exodus, Xodus, and they have a technology they called low glow technology. It's very low glow. So what it is, I have two items. The one that I think it works best in is their glowing key fob. So it's a keychain that is constantly glowing. So when you throw your keys in your backpack or in your purse or your knapsack, when you open it and look in, you can see the glow and then reach in and pull out your keys. And then if it is nighttime, you can push a button and turn that into a flashlight. And it's not one of those things where you charge it during the day, it sucks in sunlight or natural light. They found a way to take a 2032 battery, one of the very popular little button batteries, and get a year's worth of glow out of it. So they used this technology in something they called mini LED guide lights, which you can place on stair steps or by light switches at night. And they will glow for a year for you to find things in the dark. So it's a clever idea and very inexpensive. The glowing key fob, I think, is $12 on Amazon. And you can get a kit with 4 mini LED glow lights on Amazon for, I think it's $15. So it's a great use of small button batteries.
Very handy.
Get a life out of them. Yeah.
And they're bright enough to just kind of see them anyway.
Exactly. And as I said, the little keychain thing actually becomes a flashlight if you need a quickie flashlight.
So it's bright enough to do that. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, very good.
So my gadget is called the Card Ninja, and I ordered this because Lisa's, whenever we go out, Lisa doesn't want to carry her purse, so she gives me her driver's license and credit card to carry. And I thought, but she keeps her iPhone with her. She doesn't want to give this up. So what this is it's a little pouch that glues on the back of your phone. It's stretchy, so it can hold cash. It can hold credit cards. I've got 4 credit cards, my driver's license, and cash. Now, the first one I saw, and I don't know if they invented this and were copied by other companies or if they copied another company. I don't know who came up with it. The first
is that big enough for a spare battery?
No. Yes. Oh. Wait a minute. What an interesting idea. I should get my battery. Sure, it would be. You could put, it wouldn't work. You'd have to take off the cover and still put the battery. That's big enough for a battery. What a good idea, yeah.
Okay.
So the first company that I saw that does this is called Card Ninja, and they're $20. But then I shopped around a little bit, and I found another company that makes these for about $13, a little bit less, and they come in colors, called Sinjimoru, S-I-N-J-I-I pouch. So S-I-N-J-I-I pouch. But they're cheap, and you know what? They really work. And they're very handy, and they'll glue on the back. It's a 3M adhesive, so you can pull it off. But this is a great way to have something always available.
No, that's great.
And you can go clubbing or whatever it is I took it to the ball game, and so I didn't have to carry my wallet.
Nice.
Fun,
Leo,
huh?
Just move your thumb, Leo. I can't get Lisa's
Did you miss the credit card number there? Let me
I got
pull it out
I
again.
just need
good.
Need the security code. Oh, I got it. Okay, thanks.
Dick DeBartolo, go to gizwiz.biz. That's his website. That's where you can play the What the Heck Is That game. It is a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. You're going to be giving away, what, the August issue of Mad Magazine?
We'll be giving August Mad away, and that will have the...
What's on the cover? Do you know? You don't know.
We haven't done the cover yet, but Storage Wars is in there.
Oh,
the
good.
takeoff on. I wrote on Storage.
Oh, good.
Wars.
All right. I can't wait. All you have to do is figure out what there's a close-up picture of a gadget. You know, the truth is you don't have to figure out what it is. There's 12 autographed Mad Magazines for the right answer, 24 for the wrong answer, as long as it's clever. So make up
clever.
a clever
That's
answer.
us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's us, but it's our audience.
We attempt it.
We attempt it. They achieve it. Thank you, Dick DeBartolo. Stick around for the Giz Fizz right after this show on most of these internet stations. I don't think I have enough time, Heather, to take another call, I'm sorry to say. Normally I could get one more in here, but I think I've wasted our time. So I just want to thank you for being here, Heather Heyman. Thanks to our new musical director, Nathan Staten, who's doing such a great job. Don't you love that? And you're going to put some music together for us.
Having a little input.
So we can have some Daft Punk next time.
Though everyone hated it.
Yeah, the album didn't get great critical appeal.
There's
we'll
another
see.
song that I
we'll
think
play
you
it.
really like.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us. Have a great Geek Day. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.